Get ready for combat.
Internets, you're tuned into the Combat Jack Show, thecombatjackshow.com.
Cheer.
Internets. It's springtime in New York. What the fuck? Wake the fuck up.
It's spring again.
Let's get turned up.
Everybody knows it's spring again.
That's right. Yo, guys, I'm so excited about this episode, man.
Dame Dash.
Finally got Dame Dash.
Dame Dash. Like I'm
elusive Dame Dash.
I'm excited to hear about Dame talk about the early Combat Jack, Reginald Osei Esquire.
Yeah, you'll hear about me. I also want to hear what his relationship was with Just, man, because Just kind of in the past episodes there's some type of tension.
Wait, they're both going to be here tonight? Just is going to be here for the interview as well?
Just is coming directly in here specifically for this interview.
I thought they hadn't even talked in like 10 years.
They haven't spoken in 10 years.
Wow, that's crazy.
That's crazy.
Since the death of the dynasty.
Now it's interesting, man, because Dame is rambunctious, man, and they just dragging him through the mud in the press about how broke he is and divorce and the whole nine. So I kind of want to see where he is right now, man.
He think he's going to come in here all brolic and Brody and crazy?
That's the Dame I know.
Okay.
That's the Dame I know, coming in loud and trying to snap on
and boisterous and just wilding. Yeah.
But I think it's a good show. I mean, we're going to have a good show, man.
Man, Dame Dash, man, listen, Combat, another great get by you. I told you, man, that Wyclef Jean, that was the greatest get you had, but now Dame Dash, Combat, I mean, there's really not too many other people that you can bring inside here that I think will top what we're going to get tonight. But
you might be right.
But let's see.
Listen, man,
it never stops.
Man, let's turn it up. Internet, you tune into the Combat Jack Show, combatjackshow.com. Go to iTunes, rate us, subscribe, comment. Let's go.
And F your radio.
F your radio.
Internets, make sure you head on over to our iTunes page. Subscribe, rate, download. Check out all our episodes over there on our iTunes page. But most importantly, we need your support. Because with your support of liking us, rating us, subscribing, and leaving comments, we can hit the featured page on iTunes. And then we will be official Super Fucky Bergs. So make sure you fuck with us, Internets.
Internets, you tune into the Combat Jack Show, the combatjackshow.com. Internets, without further ado, I bring to the Combat Jack Show the incomparable Damon Dash. What's up, sir?
What's happening, Reggie? How you doing?
How you feeling, man? Listen, in the Hall of Justice, you can't call anybody by their government names.
So what do they call you?
Combat Jack.
Your name is Combat Jack?
Yeah, my name is Combat Jack.
I'm not going to be able to call you Combat Jack.
That's all right. I'm just fucking with you, man.
I don't think I'm going to be able to work that one out.
Yeah, how you feeling, man?
I'm feeling good.
Was he Reggie or was he Reginald?
He was Reggie Osei.
Okay, he wasn't Reginald.
It was Reggie Osei.
Reggie Osei.
Esquire.
That's
full
right.
name.
That's right.
It would definitely be like, what's up, Reggie Osei?
Yo, Dame, it's good to see you, man.
It's good to see you, man.
Yo, you real relaxed and mellow and...
Yeah, pretty much.
What's going on with you, man?
No, living life.
Yeah.
What's going on with you?
I'm doing this, man. I'm doing a podcast, doing a TV show.
See, like a straight up personality now.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could call it that.
I always knew that you had personality.
Oh, yeah?
What's going to happen?
Why didn't you sign me?
It wasn't about signing. I have to tell you, you weren't committed. You were committed to a different way of living at the time.
Well, I was doing a
completely different cultural thing going on. This is not Reggie Osei. This is Combat Jack. This is a whole different thing.
Well, maybe it is Reggie Osei emerged as Reggie Osei.
Wait, so has Combat Jack always been there? And
I mean, I didn't.
It was more like Eric Benet.
That's what I want to know. I mean, was Reggie Osei, was he into wearing turtlenecks?
Yes, 100%.
Right. Yes.
Like,
elbow patches,
leather vest.
like tight leather vest?
No, like the leather vest with some tassels. Cowboy boots.
Oh, fringed out.
Yeah, he was fringe out sometimes, but it was in a cool way though. But it was.
Was he cool though?
You had a leather vest
for what it was worth.
Yeah, I had a leather
like
vest.
the back of the Source leather vest.
Nah, I can't picture that.
It wasn't no hip. It was some village. You know what I'm saying?
It was a Paradise Garage vest.
Yes, no. It was some cowhide shit. Yo, you ate too, just?
It was. It was more like R&B rock star.
Okay.
Like that kind
so it wasn't Village People. It was Eric Benet.
So it was like bootleg Jodeci?
Like Terrence Trent D'Arby.
Hey,
Okay.
It's not a bad
it
name.
wasn't Terrence.
Across my heart.
You told me you wore Gucci loafers.
I had Gucci loafers.
Did
So
he
you
have
had a
Gucci
leather
loafers?
vest with tassels
Dame,
with Gucci
Dame,
loafers?
Dame.
Hold on, Dame.
When I wore the suits.
I remember motorcycle boots with
Okay.
the buckle, and it was like like R&B rock stuff.
Doc Martin. Okay, so motorcycle
It
boot.
was Ben. What was the dude's name that I was saying the other day? What's his name? Ben Harper.
Ben Harper.
It was flat out Ben Harper. That's what it
Ain't
was.
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, he was definitely Ben Harper.
Yeah,
I'm
so
okay
just
with
that.
different. It's
Reggie
just different.
Harper.
Easy. So, Dame, what's going on with you, man?
A lot of things.
Yeah, like what, man? I mean, I see you got your hands on a lot of things.
Well, first and foremost, I'm enjoying raising my kids. That's
Beautiful. Give this man a round of applause. How many kids you got, Damon?
I got 4.
4 kids.
But one's an adult now. Boogie's 21.
4 kids.
Yeah, and I got 2 daughters and another son.
Okay. 4 kids is a lot, man.
I mean, not for a 41-year-old. If I was 30,
I got
it'd be a
4
lot.
kids. I got 4 kids.
Oh, so
I got a
it's-
5-year-old
that's a
and
man
a
thing.
16-year-old.
That men have kids.
That shit is not hard to you, B?
Nah, I don't even know life without it. I've had my Boogie when I was 19.
That's true, though.
I used to have him coming up in the office
Yo, that shit was
with my kid.
That shit
when
was
he was first born.
that shit was crazy, B.
Yeah, I was crazy.
How's Boogie doing, man?
He's good. He
Yeah.
he emailed me a mix to for y'all, but he DJing and he got his cookies. He has a cookie company. It's in Fairway. It's in like 11 doors. It's in Zabar's. Like at 21, he was able to figure out how to make the product and package the product and solicit the product and distribute the product. So I find that I'm having real professional conversations with him. So I think I'm more proud of that.
21.
At 21. I'm more proud of that than anything.
That's beautiful,
I'm real happy
man.
with him on that one. That one came out of left field. He just started the company last year, and he's already done something that I never did. You know
That's
what I mean?
beautiful,
So he
man.
got that weight off his back.
What's the name of that brand?
Chips.
Chips.
He would have brought you
And
some.
where can you find it, man?
At Fairway.
Fairway.
That's just
And
exclusive.
Zabar.
Exclusive.
No. Zabar. A couple of delis.
Okay.
And
And they're good.
yeah,
Organic.
Well, I mean, they're like gourmet. You know what I'm saying? So, a real chef makes them. And I don't know how organic they are. I know he's trying to work on the gluten-free, but it's more expensive. It's just, again, being able to put together a real company at a professional level at that age. At 21, I wasn't doing that.
Right.
And I never sold cookies. You know what I mean? Like, he told me he was going to sell cookies. And I was like, all right.
But he's got the DNA to understand how to architect things, though. I
Yeah,
mean, you are an
absolutely.
architect.
Absolutely. I mean, he has a good coach. You know what I mean? But again, like, a lot of people have good coaches, but they don't necessarily
execute.
They don't necessarily execute. So he's taking my advice on every level. and I respect that. And then his DJing is kind of ill. He's making his own mixes and he's getting credibility the old-fashioned way. You know what I mean? So he's doing pretty good. I'm proud of him. He's creative and he's also being administrative at the same time.
That's
so
beautiful,
cool.
man. That's
he also
beautiful.
interviewed for Harvard the other day,
And you were telling us.
which is crazy to me. Yeah.
Now, Damon, man, a lot of people, I've been reading on the internet that a lot of people miss your personality, man, because you've had such an incredible history in the music industry. Not that it's over, but that your history is so, you can't ignore your history. I mean, one of the things that I hear about is how individuals, music men like yourself and Irv Gotti, don't exist anymore. And I want to go back to those days, man. I want to go back into what was in your DNA. Like you talked about what was in your son's DNA, but what was in your DNA to create the empire that you created, man? Like how did you, like, let's go back, man. Let's go back, man. Coming
Take it
up.
back?
Yeah, let's take it back.
Way
Man.
back.
Let's take it way back, man. Like I want to understand, one of the common threads I hear about people that are successful, man, is that at an early age, at some point in their life, man, they were exposed to wealth. And I want to understand your relationship with wealth at an early age, man.
I mean, I was I don't know if it's a fortunate or unfortunate thing, but I was right there when crack came out. And when crack came out, it made really young people, not to say millionaires, but it made them like hood rich.
Right.
So you have someone 15 years old with no expenses.
So
that all of a
how
sudden
old were you when it hit?
I was about 15.
15.
So it's about being a kid with no bills and having 10 grand in your pocket is like being a millionaire.
Right.
To be honest, you know what I'm saying. So I've always sort of had whatever on a relative level been wealthier than most people around me. You know what I'm saying? Just because I've always been entrepreneurial and always tried to have a business. And I always wanted to enjoy life. You know what I'm saying? So my experience with always having what I want when I was inspired to have it. I don't really know life without being able to do whatever I want. You know what I'm
Life
saying?
without.
Yeah, I don't know what that feels like.
Right. Now, one of the fascinating
saying?
things about you, though, is that, like, you went to private school. Like, you were exposed to greater wealth beyond what was being exposed to you on the streets, though.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I was the kid that lived uptown and went to private school, and people downtown were intrigued by my life uptown.
Right.
And I was the kid uptown or rather I was a kid that went to school downtown, that lived uptown.
Right.
So people uptown were intrigued by my private school experience. So I've always seen that I could survive in both areas easy, and they were both just as intrigued by my survival in both areas. You know what I'm saying? So like in the hood, they just couldn't believe I could be doing the country house thing with the white kids.
Right.
But in the with the kids that I was in private school, they couldn't understand my survival on streets that were so authentic.
You didn't get a pushback in the hood because you speak white?
No, because I used to push back myself. So I also was fortunate enough to be all right with my hands. And,
Did they?
I had to survive like everyone else had to survive. So if I was, I've never been a victim. I've always been a
bully? You were the bully?
Not a bully. I just never was a victim. I just would always make sure that I was on the offensive as opposed to the defensive. And survival was imminent, and I had to, I was trying to make money and live and not have anything taken from me. So that was never an issue. I was never insecure about anything I ever did on any level.
I used to box also.
Yeah, I still do.
How many years did you box?
Since I was a kid.
Yeah.
Not to say that I was boxing at a professional level, but I used to work out at the boys club. And I always was able to kind of, again, like I just always felt that defense was important for survival, especially when you got a mouth like mine. So I was always decent enough to be able to. I would always do a fair one. I'm not saying I'm super gangster, but I was always down for a fair one.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, and that's Harlem. Like Harlem isn't about being tough; it's just about being thorough. And that's the only way you could survive, especially in a time where it was so competitive to be entrepreneurial.
Now I want to learn about your family life because I've known you for a long time, but we've never had a conversation like this.
So now you want to have it?
Yeah, I mean, why not? And I know that you lost your mom at an early age.
Yeah.
Can you walk us through that, man?
I mean, it was a while ago, but what I could say is at one time, my worst fear was losing my mom. And when I lost her, it was confronting my fear. And being that it was so at such a young age, I've never really lived with fear of anything.
Right.
How old were you?
15.
15. Yeah. So a lot of things change at 15.
I mean, like I said, as becoming a man, things change and puberty and all those things that you're insecure about. But, being able to survive at a time and without the person that I thought I couldn't survive with, again, when you face all fears at a young age, then I never was scared of anything, So I had felt my worst pain I thought I could feel, except until Aaliyah died. You know what I'm saying? But, it was always a thing where there was just no fear of living because I had already, the thing I had dreamed or my worst nightmare had already happened. Which is also a reason why I believe that your mind is strong and that if you manifest a fear, eventually you're going to have to face it. So I'm careful about my fears.
Now, at 15, though, that's a young age, man. Were you angry? Were you upset, or did you just...
Nah. I just had to get focused. I had to be, I had to take care of myself and survive. My mother left me with all the jewels to be able to articulate anything that was on my mind and make anything that I dreamed into a reality. Right. So it was just important for me to live, and that's what she had made sure that she made sure I was educated, and she made
sure you went to private school.
Yeah, she's the one that made sure I went to private school, even to the extent that after a year or two in the street, that I put myself in boarding school, just in honor and respect of all the work that she did, and I felt like she somewhat had died to make sure that I was conscious and aware and well evolved.
Right. Now, where was your pops at the time?
He was around. Right. He's the old school weekend dad, that kind of thing.
Were they not together or?
Nah, they were divorced. Okay. Like I say, he was a weekend dad.
Right.
He died like about 3 or 4 years ago.
How was your relationship with him?
It was cool. I mean, again, me being a father and knowing how I carry my kids, we didn't quite have the same perspective on raising children. Right. But, overall, I felt more sorry for him for missing out on a lot of stuff. And, forgiveness is a big part of living as well. So I've always forgiven him for anything that, because of whatever insecurity he had with himself, made him neglect certain parts of my life. Right. So I was so happy with the way my life came out that I only would feel sorry for him for not being a bigger part of it. So I always forgave him. I always did the right thing as a son. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Now, do you think his actions or inactions inspired you to be such a great dad?
Probably. Right. For sure. Again, I don't know. I'm a person that loves the love. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why I had children is just because I wanted something or I wanted to be able to unconditionally and trust and love someone. Right. And also, I started having children young strategically. So like at this age.
You strategically had a son at 18.
Yeah, because I wanted to be, 28 when, or
20. That's a little.
Yeah, I know I'm next level thinker. I've always been strategic about my whole life. Like right now, I'm not thinking about what I'm doing now. I'm thinking about what I'm doing in 10 years. Right. You know what I'm saying? What I'm doing now is what I thought about doing 10 years ago. You know what I'm saying? So when I was hustling, I was in the music business. In the music business, I was trying to do fast. Like, I'm always thinking like a couple of steps ahead of the game.
Where does that come from, though? Because most people, even people that have been exposed to education and opulence and training, where does that come from? Because I remember one of the things that fucked me up about you is before the record label hit, you were already talking about, yo, we need to get Roc-A-Wear, and I need to get like the film company and all. Like, where does that come from, dude?
I think the at Harlem Hustle,
right?
You know,
but even Harlem cats, a lot of Harlem cats don't see.
I don't know. It's innate awareness,
right,
and an insecurity, you know, of being bored, and you know, always feeling like I'm so far ahead of the game that I feel like I'm behind all the time, and also, you know, when you crack things early, like when you make a dream come true early in life, you got to make bigger dreams.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And you don't want to do the same thing twice because it's easy. You know, there's no challenge in it. So I'm just constantly challenging myself. And I'm more artistic than people would understand. Like,
right.
The music business for me was just an artistic expression for that period in my life. But it didn't define me. It was just something I did well.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But as you know, I was always trying to do a lot of things. And, you know, not just the stereotypical Harlem or hip-hop mogul thing. You know, I was always doing things sort of on an artistic level. Was
that your first goal, man, to get in the music industry?
Nah, my first goal was to make money.
Right.
You know, I came up again when having money was important for survival, having the best things.
Right.
You know, and having more than people that were older, younger, and whatever. Like, that's just the competitive nature that I grew up around. So I was just always trying to get it no matter what. And I still am on certain levels, but it's conditions now that I'll get it. Like, I got it a certain way.
Right.
So now the only way I want to get it is on my terms.
Right.
Because it's too easy to get it the other way. And, you know, I don't enjoy the quality of living the other way. To me, being
looking over your shoulder.
Just being independent. You know, when you have too many people involved in making the same dollar, there's too many different agendas. You know what I'm saying? There's too many different people trying to get you to do things that fit their purpose.
Right.
You know, and then there's too many personalities. And dealing with men is not always the most funnest shit. Dealing with
you like dealing with women.
Yeah,
like I noticed in your office, you like women.
I don't like dudes.
Why is that, man?
They too insecure. You know, it's too much bullshit with it. You know, no matter what you do for a dude, he resents you. The more you do for a dude, the more he resents you because he wants what you got.
Right.
It's always like that. And it's just an innate human thing for men, you know, to always want to be better than another dude.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But girls, you know, they tend to be, unless you get them tight, they're a little more loyal. You know, they judge their success by your success.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Which is cool. And I don't know. I just always I'd just rather be around some beautiful smelling, you know, well
nice sounding,
some, you know, and this is a guy that boxes, but now I'm like, I should have been doing yoga all that time, you know what I'm saying? Instead of being around a bunch of
not Bikram though,
tough whatever, just
you
whatever.
Still doing yoga, man?
When I get a chance,
right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not super nice at it, you know what I'm saying? And I don't ever want to be super nice at it, but I definitely think it's important to stretch.
Yeah.
And get the blood circulating.
You can touch your toes, man?
Nah.
You can't touch your toes?
Hey, yo.
What you mean, hey, yo?
I mean, why you want to know if he could touch his toes? That's a pause. Dame, is that a pause?
It could be, yeah.
Thank you, Dame.
That's
Thank you.
But he knows because I can't touch him. He knows I can't.
I don't know you can't.
I can't.
I mean,
had this conversation.
Nah, you asked me if I could.
Right.
And I did.
Yeah, and I didn't.
Okay.
So I can't.
All right, so Damon, man, how old were you, man, when you got your first deals, man? I forget how old you are, but I remember 19 years old.
Yeah, my first record deal with Atlantic Records.
You got 2 deals.
East West, yeah, East
Two
West.
deals.
Yeah, your man Clark Kent.
At one shot.
Yeah, it was good.
You had money in your pocket at 19.
I mean, I had legal money, yeah.
Yeah, you had legal money in your
I still
pocket
wasn't paying taxes.
at 19.
I had tax problems at 19.
Future Sound, Original Flavor? Who was that?
Future Sound, Original Flavor.
How did that feel, man?
Again, like, you know, I was always feeling like I was always behind.
Right.
Because I was so far ahead.
Right.
So it wasn't a stat. I was mad I had to be signed. I wanted to have my own.
Right.
So I didn't like the fact that someone had to give me something and shit. I never thought that concept made sense. So I was all right with it, but I still was like, this ain't it.
Right.
So it's like.
So you knew at 19 that there was more?
Yeah, it's all relative, man. Especially when definitely. I definitely knew that I didn't want to be asking somebody corny to be telling me, giving me permission to do things.
Right.
And it just felt like a sucker's game. I always wanted to just get distribution.
Right.
But yeah, at 19, I was cool with having that check.
Right. So at 19, dude, like
I was jerking my artist. I didn't even know it. Yeah, you remember that contract?
I remember that contract, but understandably, those were the contracts.
Hey, you remember what happened when I figured it out?
Yeah.
I was like, give them back their publishers.
Yo, but that's the game, though. I mean, that is the game.
That's the game I don't play.
You were my client,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
And at the end of the day,
no,
I'm not justifying.
It's all good.
I'm just telling you.
Thank you, Dan. We found out, damn, he fucked up a few people deals.
Well, the thing was, the deal that I had with Original Flavor, Future Sound, they were definitely getting fucked all the way over. But when I realized it, that's when I was like, you know what, give it back. You know, and we started from scratch. So whatever the industry norm is, that just tells how crazy the industry was, which innately and instinctually, I didn't want no parts of it. You know what I'm saying? I never thought that the way the artists were treated was beneficial to the artists. It always looked like everyone was getting raped of me.
Is that why, too? I mean, hearing Dane's personality right here makes me think this is why also people loved you repping them, because you went through the wall for anybody.
I took it personal. You know, it wasn't business for me ever. It was always about what was like correct and being fair. You know what I'm saying? But I guess people that I fought for loved me, and I guess people that I fought against probably weren't too happy with how I would expose the way they did business.
Now, what made it personal for you, though, Damon?
It's just everything. I go honestly, like I said, I began to realize how really creative I am. I just really move when I'm inspired. You know what I'm saying? So if I'm inspired, I'm gonna do right by it regardless, because it's just the cloth that I'm cut from. You know what I'm saying? It's just the rules of survival where I came from in Harlem. You know what I'm saying? And just my family in general. So I'm just not about no fuckery and no bullshit, really. You know.
Now, one of the things that's common in the music industry, I mean, people have disagreements, people have arguments. That shit happens every day from day one to now, right? But what made a Damon Dash argument classic is you went extra in, or you tended to go extra in. Like, some cats wanted to be right, some cats wanted to prove a point, but you kind of, in a sense, used to go in more than that.
Well, you know, not to say it's my job, but I always kind of felt like it was my duty to make an example out of people that were misleading my culture, to make them think that they were either more powerful than they were, or that they were needed for our existence.
Right.
You know, so I was like, if you think this guy's ill, I just thought it was important that he knew that I didn't think he was ill, and that him not playing the game right by me would put him in danger of making me make everyone aware else around him that they were not ill. So, you know, it wasn't like I was going to put my hands on somebody, but it definitely was a fear of embarrassment with people if they weren't correct.
Right.
You know, it was the only way I could defend myself. I wasn't used to being disrespected in that way without any kind of repercussions. You know what I'm saying? And the repercussions were silly and kind of like ignorant. So it would just be me like, yo, I'm just have to embarrass you, man.
Right. Now, one of the I remember one time we were getting some clearance. I think it was from Mary J. Blige for Reasonable Doubt.
Yeah.
And we had some legal walls that we had to go through. And we were speaking to somebody at Universal. I think it was at Universal. And we were trying to get the approval. And I had begged somebody to give us the approval. And they were like, listen, you can have Mary on the album, but you can't have the video. And you can't have the single. And I remember we were all on the phone, and you went off on dude. Yeah. And it was, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't nothing. I thought the dude was doing us a solid. And that's when I was like, yo, Dame goes extra in, B.
Well, you know, I'm not saying that I'm justifying the way that I would probably speak to other adults, because I know I don't like, I wouldn't do that now.
Right.
But at the time, you know, I just really couldn't see how someone that didn't own that product and also, you know, they just was acting like it was theirs and it wasn't. And the reasons for it were just to leverage and make me uncomfortable. Like, I've never not cleared a record in my life. I never told someone, like a musician, if they want to do something, they should be able to do it. Shouldn't somebody be telling you what to do and if your likeness can be seen and all that other dumb shit? So I just was tight that they were thinking that they could tell me what to do and the reasons for it. And, you know, it was Mary's decision. My deal was with Mary. I didn't have nothing to do with that person. You know, I paid Mary. So, you know, I just probably didn't appreciate someone, especially a square like that, trying to tell me what was going to happen. You know, if I know me at the time, I don't even remember the conversation. Right. But I just know what my frustration is with the quote-unquote music industry, which is why I don't partake in it. And I stopped a long time ago. You know what I'm saying?
You got a bad taste in your mouth from the industry?
It's just nothing that I want to be a part of. Right. You know what I'm saying? It's just not the way I do business. I'm independent. Like, the music industry isn't really real business. People have titles, but they're all like fronts. You know what I'm saying? It's just like you're told that you're something just so someone else could tell you what to do. Like so many people out here are bosses, are supposed to be presidents or chairmen or whatever, and they always still have to ask somebody to cut a check. Me as a boss, I never had to ask anybody one time in my life. If I want to do something, it's done. It ain't nobody I got to ask. I'm the boss.
So I'm getting what you're saying is that
it's just a fake business.
You see the world as an owner.
Always.
And you want to move as an owner, and you can't understand people that are not operating on your level in a sense.
I just hate when people pretend that there's something that they're not, and because it's been working for them to pretend that there's something they're not. You know, traditionally, when they carry me, I'm like, do I look like I got like Johnny written on my forehead? You know, and also it'd be like, you know, again, it's not to disrespect anybody, but it's usually a square or a lame that's trying to lay the law like that. You know, and it's just for something that they have no entitlement to. It's all bullshit. You could get hired and fired. So how you trying to tell someone that, you know, put their own money up, or someone that's put in the sweat equity, what to do, how to do it, and how to monetize it? It's just not right. And then culturally, it was just too much people not from my culture benefiting from it and telling people from my culture what to do, and my people from my culture that act like bosses other places really, really, really being very humble.
And accommodating.
When they, accommodating to a lame. Just for what? You know, I just don't understand. It's because of that cultural mind fuck. You know what I'm saying? That they make you believe that you need them when you really don't. Excuse me.
No. You spent a lot of time in the industry, man.
I spent 10 years. I got a tenner. But again, I did it.
It wasn't more than 10 years?
I don't feel like I was in the industry ever. Like, if you remember the first time we went gold, I took out an ad and with my middle finger up in Billboard and was like, thanks to none of y'all. Right? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't feel like anyone ever I never played ball in this industry.
But you still worked in the industry. Like, you were still a record man.
I had to accommodate my partners. But you never saw me doing none of that. Like, if I was in the room with them, they knew I wasn't happy. And, you know, again...
Were you ever happy in the industry?
I was happy, but not the work in the N9. Not compared to the other businesses that I've done in my experiences the last 10 years now. My experiences in fashion and my experiences in a different kind of a music business. Nah, I was never really 100% happy because I always had to deal with people that weren't happy, that were too insecure, that weren't really doing work, that were just interjerking each other on a cultural level. You know, watching so many people stab each other in the back, it's just not fun, especially from the same culture. It's like, you know, people pulling strings. It's really kind of funny.
It's ironic, man, because we're talking about loyalty.
But I'm not bitter with it, though. Don't get it twisted. No. I made so much money and it opened so much doors. I'm just saying that I was able to work within the culture without being one of it. You know what I'm saying? And then when I walked away from it, it was like looked at as if I got kicked out of it. And I was like, you know, ain't no way kicking me out of nothing. I was gone. I already was doing Rachel Roy and other things that were completely in fashion. You know what I'm saying? It's just, I just have it's not the party I want to be at.
Your highest high from working in the industry. What was your highest high? Like your best moment working in the industry, man?
My best moment
being in the industry. Like, what was your biggest accomplishment?
I mean, I was happy to be number one for 5 weeks in a row. You know, to be able to figure out how to master the game without compromise. You know what I mean? My happiest I don't remember what my happiest moment in the industry was. Probably being able to retire. I think my happiest moment in the industry was being able to walk into another one. Like, I'm done here, and feeling complete. You know, like, you also got to remember back then I was insecure, very insecure, because I hadn't done anything yet. So when I was talking, people wasn't listening. So
when you say back then, what period are you referring to?
Before we probably caught that Hard Knock Life lick.
Gotcha.
So before I had any history of being a winner, I had to act like a winner. I was insecure about not having one yet, knowing that I should. So after we did win and won as big as we did, I felt no need to prove anything else. That was done. I did it. I did hip hop to death. I don't need to do it anymore, and I had a desire to do other things. You know what I'm saying?
But you did it even better several years later. I think when you juggled state property and the diplomats and all of those crazy moving parts.
Yeah, that was, again, it was all good money, but it was too many dues. You know what I'm saying? It was just, I had a good time doing it, and really what I was doing was trying to make a platform so other people that wanted to benefit from that perspective and point of view could, and I had enough money to go do what was artistically inspiring me. You know what I mean? Like, I was pushing someone else's movement. You know what I'm saying? And at times, you know, it really, there's a lot of guilt from pushing a movement that's not healthy to your culture. You know, I was pushing that it was healthy to sell drugs and to get it however you can, and disrespecting women and all that. And, you know, for a 20-year-old, being ignorant without a male figure to guide you, that shit is somewhat acceptable for a certain level. But as a 30, 35-year-old, you can't justifiably keep doing that knowing you got children and the harm that it does to your culture. You know what I'm saying? So if you also notice, whenever I was doing estate property, I was also trying to do a woodsman. I was trying to balance it by making the money to pay the bills, but using that money to do something that was good culturally good for the perception and reputation of my culture. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wasn't trying to just do hip hop shit. That was just what was getting me my paper. I was showing that artistically I was better than anybody, not just a black guy, a white, black, or whatever. Right. I wanted to get the Spirit Award, the Oscar, and I wanted to be on BET, but I also wanted to be on PBS.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I thought it was equally important.
You wanted it all.
A Pulitzer.
I just feel like the only way to talk to people is to be one of the people. But once I am one of the people, I got to show them the right way to do it. So the only way I can tell people to stop hustling and to stop killing is to be respected as someone that would have the ability to do those things.
Somebody who's successful and
but
successfully
also
walked away from
places.
it.
Like I was in the game, I got respect there, and because I survived there, I could be like I could do this. But it was also easy for me to transition, so it's easy for everybody else. It was like one of the reasons why I was so happy that there was a black president. Just so black people knew that there was a chance for them to be a black president. You know what I'm saying? Period. It just made things a little bit more even perception-wise of our culture. It made us a little bit prouder. We fight a lot amongst each other as a culture. It's ridiculous to me. We don't stick together as a culture. It's ridiculous to me. It always has been from that day. I'd be like, if we all stuck together, then we wouldn't need nobody.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Period.
Was there somebody? I mean, was it Diddy, Puffy? Was it Russell? Because everything that you branched out into, magazine publishing, fashion, was there somebody that you looked at in front of you and said, okay,
Russell, because he used to have the model chicks. And I liked his life. I'm serious. I used to like his life. Right. Like, he wasn't walking around with, you see, I'm alone. He was walking around. He never walked around with security. He always had a nice looking girl on his arm. And it was always a peaceful spirit about him. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't no aggression. There was never no ego involved as it relates to survival, meaning acting tough so someone won't pick your pocket or something. You know what I'm saying? So I always respected that about Russell. So I'd be like, Russell, share some of that, or I'm coming to get it. And I always would tell him.
Right.
You don't think at the same time the ego helped? Oh shit, my mic just cut out. The ego played into you being the role. That you had to be the.
I played. That was a role. You know what I'm saying? Like me, the hip hop mogul was like a quote unquote thing. It was funny to me. You know what I mean? It was like, not to say a joke, but it was a part that I was playing 100%.
Do you feel like you maybe fell into the part too much?
Nah, not too much. I can't be too much. I mean, there's Kanye and there's Jay-Z and there's Cameron and all the things that we've done. So I can't see how it could be too much. You know what I'm saying? I mean, nothing bad happened. All that's happened that has been good. Right. Period. You know what I'm saying? Like, we've all lived to see another day, no matter what.
No, I mean more so just personally. Like, sometimes when you take somebody like for example, like the Joker. A lot of times people say that what's his name playing that role was kind
Heath Ledger.
To his demise because he was method acting so much.
He became that role.
But he was also using drugs. You know what I'm saying?
No, I'm just using that as an example. But I'm saying, do you feel like the method acting?
I mean, it wasn't really method acting. Like, I turned it on and off. Like, you remember, you was in the studio. I wasn't coming through with a bunch of dudes. I was coming through with girls. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was coming through with white girls. Or just not to say that was a stat, but I was always trying to do something completely different, even in coaching you. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, you wasn't happy when I would be telling you certain things, but it would be just for your own
because
betterment.
some of those things weren't true.
What were you telling them?
That's irrelevant right now.
Well, I mean, you did when we used to argue about the fake jerseys. You used to be like,
don't even start with that.
Wait.
There was one time.
Yeah, one time too many.
Bondulu jersey.
It was one time.
Fugazi jersey, and I was like,
first of all, it wasn't Fugazi.
He was like, it was.
Hold on.
And the stories that you concocted from that one incident.
It wasn't just one incident. What are you talking about? I used to be like daily. I'd come in and be like, dog, what are you doing?
There was one time that I had spent. First of all, see, this is the thing I think that you sometimes forget. Is that you had myself more so than anybody else, any other producer who was affiliated with the label, literally working sometimes.
I had you doing that?
Well, yes, collectively, because you were the one signing the checks.
No, but was I telling you what to do?
No, you're not letting me finish.
Oh,
don't do the old Dame Dash thing. Let me finish.
I'm sorry.
Okay, so
that's the old Dame Day.
Yeah.
Yes. So there were times where I'd be in the studio for 4 days straight.
What's that got to do with the jerseys, man?
I'm not finished. You won't know.
The story's too long, man. Is there a commercial break?
You want to take a break?
No. I want to know what about the. I remember what I remember. I'm just trying to.
But you remember.
It's too much. It's too much explanation to get to the story.
Reality.
All right, well, tell me what the reality is.
If sometimes we're in the studio for 4 or 5 days straight, right?
It would turn the jersey fake.
You don't have time No, it would just push your hairline back. Don't start.
Yo, did he have a Tampa Bay Buccaneers? What did he have? Like,
Let me finish the story.
He don't want it. The story's long, but all right, go ahead.
So there were times we've been in the studio for 4 or 5 days straight, and when you're working on 4 or 5 albums at a time, sometimes you can't go. Even though I only live 20 minutes away, sometimes you don't have time to go home. Right.
So you bought a fake jersey?
So no. So I get. So we there was one night we had been in the studio for like
we've been on this one
straight.
night for like 30 seconds.
Stop. And I had to I hadn't showered in 3 days.
Right.
Oh my God.
Went got a cheap hotel real quick around the corner. Got dressed. If you remember, Baseline was
what's this got to do with the fake jersey?
No, he's getting to the story.
I'm getting to it.
He's getting to the.
You're a lawyer. You know this is.
No. I'm giving.
All right, go ahead.
Don't do it. Let me
I'm
finish.
just asking.
No, he's getting.
So, last minute, I didn't have any more clothes left. I had a stash of clothes for those 3 days. I don't care what I look like when I'm in the studio. I'm working. So I ran to Modell's, which was right up the street from Baseline.
Right.
There was a Jets jersey there. I'm like, all right, cool. I know I got a green hat at the studio. Boom, this shall at least match. Boom, $50 jersey. Who cares? It wasn't fake. It just wasn't an official $300 jersey.
Embroidered in the whole nine.
Exactly.
It was a jersey that was not authentic.
It was a.
Could it possibly have been bought from Modell's?
It was a Modell's jersey.
I don't
That's
know
why
about
bought
all
it.
that. I'm just saying that the jersey
You don't know
I
all that
saw
because you were placing too much
was
value
not
on materialistic
authentic.
things at the time.
No.
Yes,
no.
you were.
Would you ever wear a fake jersey now?
Let me finish.
Now?
That's the question. Would you ever, no matter how?
If I was going to a game, at this point, it was a fashion thing at the time. The only period I would maybe wear a jersey now is if I was going to a game. And to be honest, I'm so secure in who I am and the amount of money I have, I don't have to flaunt that by wearing a $500
Now, how
jersey.
old were you at the time, Jess?
24.
24.
Yeah.
So you were impressionable.
It wasn't even about being impressionable. It was, I got to get back to the studio.
I guess what I was trying to say was, I guess he was missing the point. What I was trying to say was, regardless of what you do, always make sure it's authentic. That's all I was saying.
Right.
So it wasn't about the price or the value.
But
of
it was.
It was just not authentic.
Because it was. I
didn't care how much it cost.
It was NFL license.
I get most of my shit for free, but it's
if
not
it's
authentic.
NFL license, is it not?
Would you wear fake leather no matter how much money? Are you secure enough
If
to do
it's
that?
NFL licensed,
You'd wear fake
is
leather?
it not fake?
Would you wear?
Is it not real?
I'm just asking. Would you wear fake leather?
Answer the question.
You're asking
I
me,
asked you first.
You're asking Jess or
I'm asking you.
Yeah, how do we get to this topic?
Answer the question.
I was trying to see
if it's officially NFL licensed.
Sometimes my
What makes it fake?
Jess, you all right?
I'm good. I'm good.
Calm down.
No, I'm good. But what makes it fake? Because it's not the same jersey the player on the field wears?
Like me and you both know what authentic is. So I was just at the time saying, make sure everything you do is authentic. That's all I was saying.
Right.
So regardless of where you bought it or when you bought it or what you was going through, like I would say, yo, get an authentic white T-shirt then if that's the case. You know what I'm saying? But make sure
what makes it unauthentic? You have not answered that question.
What did the jersey look like?
It was a regular jersey.
Jets was spelled in Spanish?
No, it was just
El Jets.
It was just
the
a
paint was
regular.
ironed on. It wasn't it wasn't
Los
authentic.
Jets.
Why are we talking about a fake jersey?
It wasn't the
You're
one
not
that they
telling me
would
what
wear.
makes it fake.
Because it used to make them upset.
Wait. Did you know you were making him upset, Damon?
Yes.
No, actually, I was. I laughed at it because I thought it was kind of corny.
Yeah, I did too.
And you know what? I didn't get upset about it. I didn't get upset about it until years later when you had the radio show. And at one point,
I'm sorry if I offended you in any way. I'm sorry, but I was just saying that it was just. I was always trying to teach.
But this is what I was going.
Teaching taste has never been anyone's. No one's ever happy to receive advice about taste.
Right. There's a difference between advice and slander.
It wasn't slander.
It was slander when we got on the radio station.
Did you slander Just Blaze?
Let me finish.
Did you?
When we got on the radio station, and you were on this whole tirade about you taught me how to dress.
I don't even remember that, but
yeah, of course you don't, because you did a lot of dumb things at the time because of that ego that you had at the time.
I know, but
you were playing that role.
As we talk, let's keep it respectful.
No, I'm not being disrespectful by any means.
I'm just saying.
I'm happy to see that you're at where you're at. I'm great and secure where I'm at. So
I'm just saying, let's keep it.
But I feel like if we,
I know that there's probably some issues that I might like. Again, sometimes my method were a bit, where I would make men feel insecure, and maybe they were a bit harsh and brash. But at the end of the day, what I did see is that you did start to pay attention to real jerseys. So I feel like that advice probably helped you get to that point where you did appreciate an authentic jersey. I did see that you did.
I had authentic jerseys before that, though.
All right.
But I don't want to focus on the jersey. I'm focusing about the I'm talking about the mentality.
All right.
That was behind that whole exchange.
I feel like I push people to excellence no matter what, and that's undisputed. You know what I mean? So like everyone that was around me, the work ethic that I instilled and the taste that I gave them, is all reflected in a very positive situation for people's whole lives. The doors that were open.
So Damon, you were being positive, and you felt that Damon was being negative?
When you teach men, they don't like it sometimes how they're taught.
I love being taught. That's the only reason you learn. Or that's the only way that you learn.
So you
And I
were a
see you
student.
learned. Yeah.
But no, like I said, I didn't have a
How do y'all guys meet, man? How do y'all meet?
I think hip hop.
Yeah, it had to be hip. Yeah,
Right.
definitely had to be hip.
What'd you think of Just when you first met him, man?
I thought that he was a good producer.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, and he was a great executive. That's all that really mattered at the time because we were all there to, make great music and make money while doing it.
Now, what was the nature of the relationship?
The nature,
I used to tease him a lot.
You used to tease him a lot.
Yeah.
the nature of the relationship was good.
Were you kind of like in a sense,
Everything that was wrong, I wanted to make right.
right? So, in a sense, let's get some resolution here. Let's do.
I just used to be trying. I definitely used to snap a lot.
Were you like a big was he a big brother role in a sense?
It went from being a big brother to, okay, you're going too far.
I hurt his feelings. I'm sorry.
So
No,
you-
it wasn't about hurt feelings.
I
It was
obviously did.
no, it wasn't about
I
hurt
hurt your
feelings.
feelings.
But
I'm sorry.
No, it was just you're going
I'm sorry.
too far.
I'm sorry.
You're going
What
too
was
far.
the jersey? Because listen, Dave,
I don't. It was
I'll
like
tell you
fakey,
exactly.
fakey.
Los
I don't remember the
Jets.
jersey.
like if it was the
Yes.
if it was the Winnipeg Pets, you know what I mean?
I don't know. Whatever it was, it wasn't authentic.
All
That's
right,
all,
so-
you know?
But he still hasn't defined authentic. So let's just go.
No,
let's go past
let's-
that.
same
jersey
Let's talk
that
about
they
the
wear when they
relationship
play.
overall,
Right.
because there are some positives here.
Right.
There's only some.
Yeah, there are some
Actually,
positives.
you know what?
there.
Let's go to a break.
If
Let's go to a
if I
break.
didn't hurt
Let's go to a
people-
break.
If I didn't
Let's-
hurt people's egos,
Right.
then it would be
But it wasn't about her ego. It was like,
Let's go to
my
a break.
thing was, why are you placing so much
Yo, let's go to a
on
break.
this?
Let's go to a break.
It had to
Internets,
be.
you're tuned into the Combat Jack Show.
Shit.
CombatJackShow.com.
I'm sorry.
Dame
Gonna
Dash in the
back.
building.
I'm about to talk about Just Blaze
Just give me a hug.
and Dave Dash's relationship. This is real.
I'm sorry.
Yo,
Oh,
F your
Internet.
radio. Internets, we're back to the Combat Jack Show, the CombatJackShow.com.
Group hug.
We got Damon
group hug.
Dash
It's an intervention.
versus Just Blaze, or Just Blaze
It's
versus
versus?
versus Dave
not
Dash.
versus.
I'm on your
Let's-
team, my
let's-
brother.
Let's get
It's
back
not
to
versus.
the
It's not
I'm on
versus.
your team, my
Wait,
brother.
no versus at all.
So
Professional button pusher.
I'm trying to basically what I'm seeing is you came into this industry. You were younger than Dame. Dame
Right.
was established.
Right.
Dame was older.
Right.
Dame was
I'm
in a
still old.
Just was on his PRT.
Dame
his
was-
poor righteous teacher vibe.
Dame was in a position of power.
Right.
You were coming into the game. Dame had good intentions in terms of about teaching you
Enlightenment. Right.
about certain,
And I see he applied it.
about certain things, and you felt that he went too far.
There was a certain point where it was too far.
Right.
And without having to get into all the specifics, because we'll end up arguing about jerseys for an hour.
Right. I don't want to talk about jerseys. I don't want to talk about jerseys.
Which
Not
we
about
don't want
the
to do.
jersey.
I don't want to talk about
It's
jerseys.
about the
Which we don't want to
recollection
do.
of the
But
situation.
the thing is, at that point, I had known you for a few years. So
Dame, you was riding him for a few years.
no.
Oh,
No, that's
pause.
when it.
I've always tried to.
That's when it first happened.
I've always tried to make him in a place where he was evolved.
Right.
Here's the thing: if you saw me wearing fake jerseys for 3 years, that'd be one story.
That'd be a
right?
problem,
Or
yes.
The
jerseys that
minute I
were
saw fake
$500.
jerseys, the minute I corrected it.
Well, see, that's different.
but-
Here's the difference between I saw Combat in a fake polo shirt, and I said, "Man, this guy has 4
And
kids."
he never
You
told
should
me.
know better than that.
He didn't tell me.
I wouldn't. I
You
didn't
wore a
tell
fake
him.
polo shirt?
I didn't tell him.
Damon,
That's like
Damon.
if somebody got a booger on their nose or on their face and they're your friend.
But you know what? If they're your friend,
No,
if they're your
no,
friend,
you
you
put
can
him
walk
on
around
with
with the booger. If they're your friend,
He
you can
got
pull them to
4.
the
He
side.
got 4 children.
But Damon,
Still be
Damon,
like, yo, do you know that's not
Damon,
real, mom?
the problem is this.
Like, you know you got a booger on the side of your face? Wipe that.
The problem is this.
on.
Dallas Penn got over 1,000 pieces of low, right?
Right.
I went someplace. I bought some shit for like $25. I was
Right.
like, "Yo, can you tell me if this
On
shit is-"
vacation?
I said, "Can you tell me if this shit is authentic?"
Right.
And he's like, "You're good."
You were worried about it being
said-
authentic, though.
Yeah, I was worried about.
What makes it real?
I'm sorry.
What makes it real?
The authenticity of it, where it was made.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The origin of the fabrics, the whole nine. But I asked him as a friend. I said, "Yo, can you tell me if this is authentic or not?"
Right.
And he's like, "You're good."
Wow.
That's what you told me.
But he knew what you knew he wasn't?
See,
I don't recall it like that. I recall you having a fake piece of polo on it. You didn't ask me about
I
it.
said, yo, DP, is this shit official?
Well,
And you like, let me see the stitching.
Let me-
Yo,
Now, the horse was fucked up.
Let me ask you this.
The
Right.
horse.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Now, you're on the show.
Yes.
And you're on the show.
Right.
So obviously, you're both funny dudes, right?
All right.
So you're a funny guy.
I have my moments.
Right. So
Funny how?
if you were having your moments being a funny guy,
Yeah.
the moment that I catch you doing something funny and you're a funny guy,
Right.
I'm definitely going to let you have it.
You're gonna zone in.
So it just means if you've ever started with me on any level, you're not going to like how I'm going to finish with
Right.
you. So the bottom line is if you are a person that, like for me, the fact that I talk so much shit the fact that I've always talked so much shit, I put myself in a position where if I don't live up to a certain standard, I'm going to get scrutinized.
And you're fair game.
I'm accepting that all the time.
And you don't take offense to people.
So basically, all the shit where motherfuckers been bombing on me in public for years, never once did I ever come out and be like, stop, or try to cover it up, or any one of those things, because it's the life I chose. So if I get caught slipping, I deserve to be made aware of I'm slipping, especially from someone else's perspective. It's the game you playing. So you can't play the game a little and not play it a lot. So 9 times out of 10, our interaction came from probably you being a funny guy, but now that you did something funnier,
you can't.
Me just making sure you were aware.
Were
of
you
it.
playing the game, Just?
Come on, Just.
No.
To be honest, at that time,
On,
it was
Just.
still no. Let me finish. Hold up. At the time,
I wouldn't have did it to you if it was another different way.
but you, like I said, that incident didn't go too far.
were
That's where it
funny.
started.
Whatever went too far? When you had the rhinestone belt buckle?
I never
Rhinestone
had. Don't
belt
even try. I
buckle.
never had a rhinestone belt buckle.
Bedazzled?
Don't even try that.
Rhinestone,
No,
bedazzled?
I did not.
Wait,
Don't
let's
leave.
not go
You
back.
got me
Why would I
confused
lie?
with somebody else.
No, I don't.
You're not lying. You have me confused.
Was it
with
rhinestone
somebody
or was
else.
it bedazzled?
When did you get the maddest?
I never-
What made you the maddest?
Like a
I
rhinestone
will get to that.
cowboy.
That's
What made you mad specifically?
I never had a rhinestone belt
did
buckle.
so. We had a whole
I did
conversation
not.
about it.
No, I did not.
Was it rhinestone
There was
or
a time. Hold
bedazzled?
up.
Forget it.
No, hold up. There was a time
Forget
where
it, forget
there
it,
was a
forget
time where I got one sent to me that I did not I had it in the studio. Did I wear it? Never.
No,
dog.
you had it on.
Wait,
No, I did not
That's why I
have it
said
on.
something about it. Why you
time
don't
out.
remember it?
Time out.
I was like a
But hold on, but-
rhinestone. I'm like a
Never,
rhinestone
ever,
belt buckle.
never,
Yo, time
ever.
out. Did you?
No.
How did Dame see the buckle?
Yeah, because you was wearing.
No, because I remember having one in the studio at the time that was sent to me by, if I'm not mistaken, LRG.
Okay.
And
No,
because Jonas had, remember,
Dry
I don't remember Jonas had the
Rest in peace.
the giant LRGP, or RIP had the giant LRGPs.
Right.
So he was toying with the idea of making belt buckles out of them. So he sent out a couple just to his friends.
They had an
Can I
L.
say something different? I'm from Harlem, right? In Harlem, we cut ass. We heat. We snap. That's what we do.
Right.
So we should just heat. That's all. I used to heat them up. That's
But
all.
if I had it, just because I had it in my hand and I'm
Hey,
looking
Justin,
at it
Justin,
because it was delivered
you
to
was
the
wearing it.
studio.
Did you ever try to heat up Dame?
Yeah.
No.
Oh wow.
Yo, that don't even
tried.
sound right. Be honest. Like, yo,
You
Dame.
saw what he
But
just
hold
tried
on.
to cut just now? He was like forehead and all that. I just didn't say nothing.
Yeah,
about it.
yeah,
I can do that now.
He did.
I
You was
don't
doing
care.
that
This-
before.
He did.
All right,
Hold up.
You
Let me get back to what I was saying about the pod. Let me get back to what I was saying.
He did cut on you.
You
He did
didn't
cut
just
on
turn
you.
into a funny nigga overnight. You don't have a radio station because you just got funny. You must have been thinking you was funny.
Let me get to the
We
positive.
used to heat. I just used to be good at it. And I'm still am.
I learned one thing early fucking with Dame, and that's not to play that game. Because once he starts, it don't stop.
But you know what I see? I see
But the flip side is this:
I'm
once
just
you
too good at it.
once you
Everybody
lock
gets
in
mad.
on somebody,
I got you.
Once you lock in on somebody,
I'm not stopping.
they could not be necessarily playing
They're
with
not
you.
supposed to be mad if they started.
No, but
They
if you
always
lock,
do.
but I
Like I said,
understand
none
what
of
Just
that-
is saying too, though.
But he's sticking
It's
up
like-
for himself.
It's like if you lock into somebody that didn't necessarily come to play.
That's what I'm saying. He used to play.
To be honest,
you have a radio
I
show.
was so
Now
young
you
back
see-
then.
No,
Let me finish. I was so young back then.
No, Just
I was comfortable with that to a certain degree, but
Just-
not.
So
No.
what do you remember, Just?
Oh, so what Just is saying is that he was so young.
Nah,
you
bro.
should have gave him like
No,
juvie
no, no,
treatment.
don't put words in my mouth.
You
please.
could not.
Do not put words in my mouth,
coming
Dallas.
in the baseline with a fake jersey and a rhinestone belt buckle, and I'm not.
I never
even
had a
on-
rhinestone belt
Yes,
buckle.
so man.
What the fuck?
It was you had it right.
It was
was-
no. I
was
said
it rhinestone
I'm
or
telling you
bedazzled?
exactly when
No,
it was.
what I
Was
said-
it bedazzled?
No, it might have
what
been
I
bedazzled.
saed-
It might have been
It
bedazzled.
was something
see?
crazy.
No,
Where I
the
was like,
question
take
is
that
this.
shit off.
The
What?
question is this.
I
like-
never
I like
wore.
her.
Hold on.
I never wore a
We used to-
rhinestone belt
I know
buckle.
what it was. We used to have this thing where it was like Keep It Real Wednesdays.
Yes,
right?
we've talked about keep.
And
And he
baseline.
came, it was one of those days I wasn't there every Keep It Real Wednesday. I wasn't in the studio like that. But it was one of them Keep It Real Wednesdays. I remember he had the rhyme, and I was like,
Did
Keep
you-
It Real.
I did
Just-
not have
you
a
gotta take
rhinestone.
that shit off.
I had one in my hand
In your hand.
because it had just been sent
It went
to
to
me.
the box. They sent it to your hand. I don't understand.
No, I opened the box and I had it.
All right,
had it on, Josh.
Come on.
let's
Come on,
rewind a
Josh.
little bit. Let's
But let me hold on. Can
When did I ever
rewind?
hit you up about something mean? What do you mean?
I'll get into that in a second. But I want to address the positive first.
Thank you.
Because there was a point in 2000, Pops passed in 2002.
Right.
And when was it Aaliyah passed? 2001? We were down in Miami.
Yeah.
And I remember like at one point, me and you had a long, not a super long, but a substantial conversation about that when we were all sitting at the studio in Circle House. You know, I offered some words and kept it moving. And we ended up having like a 5-minute exchange about it. It wasn't much. Because I obviously at that point, you know, we were just trying to let you have your space. But a year later, my pops passed. And to be honest, Dame was the only one who actually made a half of an attempt to actually sit and talk to me about it. Whereas everybody else was just like
business as usual, right?
Yeah, everybody wanted to know. It wasn't business as usual, but it was just, oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Right.
You know, and keep it moving. All right, where's the beat? And I'm like, you want to hear the beat right now? Like, my father just passed yesterday, you know, or 2 days later, whatever it was. And Dame was the only person who actually, I remember, pulled me aside and we sat in the lounge and we actually talked about it for about 10 to 15 minutes.
Right.
You know, and to be honest, that 10, 15 minute exchange was actually super meaningful to me because there were very few people at that time, aside from my personal family and friends, but very few of my quote unquote industry friends actually stopped to say more than, I'm sorry to hear what happened, and keep it moving.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that was a super positive for me. And to me, in all honesty, that positive outweighs a lot of the negative.
Right.
And up until that point, you know, the teasing, the jokes, the back and forth, like that never really bothered me like that. Like I'm making more out of it than what it really was.
Right.
Although I do maintain.
Although Damon is good at.
Oh no, he is
locking in.
But I'll tell you this much: I never did wear a rhinestone belt buckle. However,
let's not
moving,
go back.
but moving forward,
Bedazzle,
moving forward,
Swarovski.
Moving forward, there was only one time, and I know you're gonna remember this. There was only one time where I felt like it was too much, and this was the thing that made me wonder: is playing the role, taking over the actual person.
What happened?
Was there was a time when you started to have ideas for records, that you wanted to, or beats that you wanted to see made. So you had given me "We Are the Champions" and what other new wave record? I forget what it was off the top of my head. And you were like, "Yo, can you make something out of these two?" So I listened to them and I'm like, "All right, cool, yeah, I can do this." But at the time, we were working on "Come Home with Me,"
right.
Whatever album Bleak was doing at the time.
It was a factory.
Yeah, it was, and I was literally that's the point where I was doing 75% of these albums.
Right.
And I remember asking you. I remember saying, "Do you have any idea who you want to give these records to?" No, I just want to hear them.
Right.
So I'm like, all right, if it's something you just want to hear, then at that point, it's somewhat back burner because I know we have these things that we need to do now.
Right.
Because I forget what the album.
Timeline.
Yeah, it was like literally timelines, deadlines, and we had a lot. I had a lot on my plate.
Right.
And a couple of days had gone by, and you would ask me every time you would come in, you were like, "Yo, where's the beat? Where's the beat?" And I'm like, "Yo, I haven't gotten to it yet because."
You remember the same?
We're mixing "Welcome to New York City." We're mixing this Freeway record. We're mixing this J record. Whatever it is, I'm doing a lot, and it's just me and Guru, a 2-person factory, doing all we can. So we get to about a week and a half goes by, and you asked me about it, and I'm like, "Yo, I actually started working on them, but I worked on them at home.
Right.
So when I come in tomorrow, I'll bring them with me." I ended up spending the night that night because Mac showed up to the studio at 4 a.m. and ended up keeping us there the entire night. So the next day comes by. You come back in, and you're like, "Yo, where's the beats?" And I'm like, "Hey, I actually haven't been home yet." Before I could even finish explaining, you went off on a tirade, but it went beyond comedy. It got to a point where it became very disrespectful, and you started calling me just Disrespectful Blaze, which was funny at first. But then it got to a point where every single person that came in the room, you started going on a rampage.
Wait,
about.
they were calling it, the joke was I was calling you just disrespectful?
No, just because you felt like I was disrespecting you because you felt like I was lying to you.
Do you remember this?
Hold on, it's not. But it gets better. It gets better. So at that point,
It doesn't sound so bad, just disrespectful.
No. But it was the manner in which you were doing it because it got.
Yo, just disrespectful.
No, it wasn't that.
Like,
it
what did I
was.
say that
It
was
was.
so
It was
crazy?
actually your demeanor was actually very disrespectful.
Oh, it was my
to the
demeanor.
point. Yes, to the point where I had to get.
What I said
to the
was
point
just
where.
disrespectful?
To the point where I had to get. Where I got loud, and then you were like, "Yo, we ain't got to raise voices," and I'm like, "Well, you don't have to do what you're doing right now because you're taking it too far." So then I get a call from Avi. Remember Avi, the jeweler?
Yeah.
So Avi has a watch for me downstairs. He's in a rush, so he can't come up. So you somehow ended up downstairs before me, and it's you, Biggs, Claudie B, bunch of uptown dudes, all good. So I go downstairs to get the watch, and I walk past y'all, and immediately you start back up. Yo, that's Just Blaze. He thinks shit is sweet. And I'm like, no, all right, whatever. So I'm ignoring it.
I was like, that's Just Blaze, and you think shit is sweet? Like he's about to fight?
Yeah. And then, you're
Just
exact.
Blaze, come on.
If I'm telling the story with this much preciseness, do you think I would make this up?
Just finish the story.
So then you come up to me and Claude's laughing. Biggs is laughing. Claude's kind of like, me and Claude are cool, so he's just kind of like, what's going on
Everybody
here?
was cool.
So then you're like, yo, he really think this shit is sweet. Like somebody's jaw can't get tapped right now. You ain't gonna lie to me. I cut the checks here.
I said
You can get your jaw tapped right now.
I said jaw tap?
Yes.
I like that line.
I don't even use
You
that.
said
line.
that, Damon?
Yes, you
I
did.
mean,
Damon, did you say
And
that?
he doesn't obviously doesn't remember
If I
this.
got pushed to that level to say that, I might have felt disrespected. But again, there's no man putting his hands on another man, especially at Roc-A-Fella.
Well, no, because I turned to you and said, if that's what it is, it's one of me and 10 of y'all. Avi gave me the watch and I kept the moving.
You ever heard of any of me or anyone jumping or fighting?
No, but it's just,
anybody?
but
That's not my
it
style.
gets to a point where it's too much.
you
and
thought-
that's
So
my
let me
point.
ask you this, right? Just let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Being that, like you said, there was a lot of opportunities that I did give you.
There
Or
was two records, two samples that you gave me.
No. Not the opportunity to make a record for me. The fact that, the platform that was being given to you to make these records for these substantial artists was given to you because we kind of believed in you. It was like we gave you the opportunity to sit there and make records all day. Mm-hmm. So I would think this is how my perspective would be. If I am that person that is providing that opportunity, that I've done nothing but giving you as much respect as possible. Now, I don't really remember the situation. I just know how I think. I know that if you, like you said, if I asked you to make a beat for me, mm-hmm. and after 2 or 3 weeks of every day me asking you just not doing it.
You don't know that I wasn't just doing it. You don't even know what goes into making a beat.
Regardless, I'm telling you what I might have thought.
Right.
That because of the fact that you didn't take what I'm asking you to do as a priority, mm-hmm. that I might have felt that you were disrespected.
I took that into consideration, but here's the thing.
Let me just finish. You just did a whole thing.
Okay.
So, let me just tell you.
Okay.
So, more than likely, I definitely was feeling like, as a man, that you were probably being disrespectful. And at the time, the way that you would project used to be kind of cute a little bit. And it probably was a little bit too cute in the moment. But, again, it doesn't justify me.
What do you mean by cute?
Cute, like, he shouldn't be talking to me that way just because that's not our relationship.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
that was exactly my point to you so many times. That's not our relationship.
Can I just finish? So all I'm saying is, again, that it's water under the bridge. I guess that must have been about 10 years ago. But I probably felt really disrespected because I probably felt I'd given you so much opportunity. In the minute that I ask you for something, anything but reacting, because that's the way I would treat somebody that had given me those kind of opportunities, would be disrespectful. Which is why I probably was calling you just Disrespectful Blaze. Because it does sound disrespectful for me to have to ask you to do something every day for 2 weeks. You understand what I'm saying?
It doesn't sound disrespectful when I'm sitting there working and day in, day out, and barely going home
you getting
to
paid
make
for
records.
it.
And
So,
make
you know
jobs.
what I'm saying? Like, you're getting paid for it, and you're getting
exactly.
So in that perspective, it's like, first of all, as far as timelines and all that go with Roc-A-Fella, I would want things done. But it wasn't like a timeline where it's like fashion. If you don't hand your designs by a certain time, you lose money. It wasn't like that at Roc-A-Fella.
If we didn't handle those records on time, we would miss deadlines.
This is what it comes down to.
It's probably a misinterpretation of perspective.
It was until you started talking about tapping jaws.
Like I said, if I said I was going to tap your jaw, I wasn't going to tap your jaw. I wouldn't even look tough tapping.
Right, but I don't even play like that.
I would look stupid. So I might just was trying to push your buttons.
But see, I don't play like that.
Well, you
and the majority. No,
like I said,
yeah, but this is something that you should have said 10 years ago.
Yeah, 10 years ago. So, like I said, again, if I insulted your manhood,
that wasn't about insulting manhood.
Let me just finish. If I insulted your manhood, or you felt that I hurt your feelings, or you
don't go there,
or you were played with,
no, don't go there. Don't even preface it with that.
How you do?
It was just not cool.
You see how you do?
All right.
I didn't think. Again, what I was trying to do was apologize for making you feel sad. So what I was saying was, I apologize.
I can't.
Wait.
I apologize.
Wait, Dame. You know you slightly trying to push buttons right now by saying I'm sorry I made you sad.
Actually,
only because he was interrupting me.
All right, so
that's what I'm saying. Like, if I get interrupted and reacting to the interruption, I'd be wrong. So what I'll do is I'll say something where you understand. Like, yo, all I'm trying to say is, listen, if I did do anything that made you feel uncomfortable at the time, more than likely that wasn't my intent. But I am human, and I was at the time dealing with a lot of men at the same time. And to me, I felt like a lot of things were not appreciated and taken for granted. But it's not excusing me disrespecting your manhood. You know what I'm saying? But again, I definitely have always had somewhat of a temper, which is why I stopped being in the music business, because if I don't get the respect that I feel I deserve, then I do get to a position where I feel my ego and I feel my personality starts to take control. You understand what I'm saying?
Wait, let's zoom back a little bit.
It isn't intentional, but it's a reaction. It's a reflex.
Was this around the time that things started?
I have no idea.
But
It was.
so.
Yeah, but you
was.
got to remember, things never really got fucked up. It just got over.
Right.
It wasn't nothing. Was never fucked up. Me
Right.
and Jay wasn't never arguing. Me and Jay never was beefing. It just was over.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? And Roc-A-Fella didn't exist anymore. But it wasn't no beef. It was people talking about beefs. But my quality of living was never compromised.
Right.
It wasn't no quality of living compromised over at Baseline. We wasn't never running in there arguing and about crews and shit like that.
The artists were. You guys pretty much weren't, but the artists were.
They were?
Yeah.
Yeah, but to me, again, that's how.
I mean, but
that's the reason why I don't be wanting to be in business with men, because they be arguing about the wrong shit. If everybody getting money and nobody's getting hurt and nobody's getting disrespected, people shouldn't be arguing about.
So can we resolve this? Like, it's been.
Well, no, this is fine. I'm able to have a conversation about it.
Like, what I understand is this. Let me summarize.
I bet you that there's probably everyone in the industry has one of those stories with me. Probably.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I can understand where that could be, because it just was my demeanor, man. I just didn't like being disrespected. You know what I'm saying? I just didn't feel like it was all right.
Now, let's summarize this, basically.
The beat got done, though.
The beat got done, right?
No,
I made it with Kanye.
Well, he made it. It did get done.
Yeah, by Kanye.
No, let me finish. I'll let you say your piece. Hold on,
Kanye made
Jack.
We Are the Champions.
Hold on, Jack. So, no, what happened was shortly after that, me and Jay
That's all I
did
remember.
the Rock the Mic tour. And for all the shows that we were doing, we would actually use that as our ending, because the beat was done. I couldn't get it to that day because I hadn't gone home yet.
Oh, so you used my beat?
No, Jay used it to close the shows.
How you gonna use my beat to Jay's show? See?
At the time, no, whatever.
See?
All right,
Hold on.
let's do this. We're not going.
But I remember when Ye called me and was like, "Yo,
listen.
Hold on, but one last footnote. I remember when
Did
Ye
you give me credit for that? That beat that you made?
It never came out. We just used it at concerts.
Oh, I just wanted.
But I remember when Ye called me and was like, "Yo, so you supposed to do these beats for Dame?"
Right.
And I'm like, "Yeah, but he blacked out, whatever." He's like, "Oh, he just asked me to do them." And I'm like, "So do them."
And he did it to death.
And that was it.
How long did Kanye take to do it?
That day?
Damn.
Can we stop?
That was the thing. That was the difference. If I asked Kanye to do something right then and there, it was done no matter how busy he was.
Because all Kanye was focused on at the time was being signed as an
regardless of what
artist.
the excuse is, when I asked you to do something, it wouldn't happen for 2 weeks or until I got upset. So I felt that was disrespectful.
That was the only time you ever asked me to do
Dave,
something.
Exactly.
All right. Well, let's
The only time I ever asked you to do something
Can we please?
Hold on, let
You
this
didn't
play
do
out a
it.
little bit. Let it play out a little bit.
All right.
Hold
Yeah,
on.
combat, Jack.
Yeah, I mean, what I want to know is, Dame, did you ever say that you were going to tap Reggie's jaw? Ever?
Never said that.
I don't remember saying I was going to tap his jaw. You know what I'm saying? I don't remember that, unless it was just too disrespectful. Like I could have been like something cute or something slick, like don't get your jaw tapped.
I mean, listen.
No.
I don't
Niggas think
I don't
shit is
remember
sweet.
saying that.
They act like they can't get their jaws
Niggas
tapped.
think shit is. That's not even.
But it was you at the time. You
So
probably
you know what?
you
All right,
posturing.
back and forth.
You were
with this.
posturing.
That was real Brody talk.
If that happened, I was being a bully, because there was no stat in knocking out Just Blaze. I wouldn't do that. That's not.
But when you hear that word, I mean, I'm just
I
speaking
would
from
be upset.
experience.
If
You feel like you got to knuckle up
If
real
somebody
quick.
was going to tell me they was going to tap my jaw, then I'll be like, all right, well then tap it then.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I understand that might have been what I was trying to provoke, and like I said, I apologize. That's not the most evolved way of dealing with things, but that's where men go when they get
And
emotionally
it sounds
involved.
like both. I'm not trying to make an excuse for any of y'all, but
No
it sounds like
excuse.
both of y'all was under a lot of pressure.
I wasn't under no pressure.
I mean, but you were in a sense.
I wasn't. Never.
Not at all. So, Dame, these are the last days, right?
The last days of what?
Roc-A-Fella.
Of
right?
Roc-A-Fella, yeah.
What's going through your mind?
The Empire.
I'm
Empire.
happy. I get to do Rachel Roy. I get to go do fashion. I don't have to go to no more court cases. I don't have to deal with Lior no more. I don't have to deal with politics. I'm fucking ecstatic that I'm at a place where I can walk away from something because I don't need it anymore.
Did you feel betrayed, though, man?
Nah.
Not at all.
Betrayed by who?
Just by Jay.
I mean, I thought the way Jay carried things was a betrayal to the company. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, nah, not really. I didn't think the business way things played out. Like, I was more into the friendship than the business.
Right.
Because that's really what it was for me at that point. You know what I'm saying? Like, I felt like, Roc-A-Fella, overall, we had built a brand for 10 years. And
went through so much.
Well, that was just that I knew I would be all right. I was trying to get away from it anyway.
Right.
But I was afraid for everybody else, which ultimately was the case. I just felt like Roc-A-Fella should exist. Like Cash Money still exists. Like Bad Boy still exists. Like every other label still exists. You know what I mean? But it just got...
But they still have that charismatic... I mean,
Right.
understand, too, you are the charismatic...
I was put in a position where I couldn't be a part of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was going to be a part of it because,
And you weren't angry about that?
Nah, because it was obligation. I wasn't trying to do that.
Right.
So I was like, oh, y'all let me off the hook. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had already moved to rock where I wasn't coming in the studio every day. I had already, that part of my life, that chapter of my life was closed.
Right.
I was sick of arguing and fighting niggas all day and talk about tapping jaws. That's not my demeanor.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not what I want to be doing.
Or it was your demeanor. You just don't want to keep doing that shit.
When you're dealing with a lot of men that are talking about selling drugs, you got to be the toughest one there. You got to be able to put in the work you're sending people to put in.
Right.
So that wasn't the aggressive lifestyle I wanted to live anymore. I got daughters and kids and shit like that. So I was trying to do something that was a little more rated PG. That was a little less unproductive for the culture.
Right.
That was a little less based on the perception of money. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it was time for me to evolve as a person. I was becoming Gary Coleman. So that's why I was always trying to do other things.
Stunted, you mean?
Pardon?
Gary Coleman.
I was starting to be Gary Coleman.
Yeah.
Like, meaning like, he couldn't do any other character.
Right.
But that TV
He's getting boxed
show.
in.
Yeah. So
what you talking about, Willis?
It just felt like everything that I was being portrayed to be was only the negative parts as opposed to all of the positive things that I was doing, especially for the culture. A lot of what I did was for the culture. Like, I would make examples of motherfuckers so the culture would feel empowered.
And you inspired a lot of people.
I hope so. That was my intent.
Right.
You know, and also if I had to be the go-to or the fall guy for it, then I was all right with that too. Like, Dame Dash to me had to go anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like, that, again, that perception wasn't what I wanted to walk around. You never knew me to walk around with security.
Right.
You never knew me to walk around being scared or worried about people being angry. I didn't want to be in an environment where I needed security all day. I just don't like being around a whole lot of insecure dudes. You know what I'm saying? And having to be the guy to be like, yo, to lead a rough team, you got to be rough.
Right.
And I had a rough team.
As a professional button pusher, you never came across any type of like crazy situation that happened, like saying that you didn't run around with security and nobody really wanted to like come test you?
I got tested in Paris, of all places where you would think I would.
Did you have your girl? Yeah, tell us about that, man.
I got jumped. You know, we was taping. Choke No Joke was taping, and he wasn't supposed to be. He was on the block. He wasn't supposed to be taping, and he was acting tough. And I was like, all right, I'll ride with you if you're going to act tough. I'm with you.
Right.
But when homeboy came to take the camera, he bolted, and I had to end up fighting all them niggas. So I ended up fucking fighting 30, 40 dudes with mace and all that. So that was the one time that I took an elbow, not being...
Wait, you fought 30...
There was a lot of dudes.
I remember this shit.
The only person that came to my aid was Johnny Newton, but I was with my friends.
Johnny Newton, the cameraman?
Yeah, Johnny Newton represented. Like, put it like, I was fighting all of them and shit, and I was getting caught with a blackjack and all that. And I was on the floor getting kicked, and I didn't know how I got up. I later found out he picked me up, and I'm looking at him. He's swinging the camera around. Everybody was going but me and the girls. And he's swinging the camera. He like, yo, dang, we got to go. And then even after he walked me out of that situation, he went back in looking for Choke. Put a jacket on and all that. He was brave.
Where was Choke?
He was gone.
God.
He was ran in the from his
in the bistro.
He said he ran in the Chinese restaurant, ran over the roof. He showed up at the hospital with a screwdriver.
Ratatouille.
So that was one of those times where it was like, yo, dog, you're not invincible, man.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? Like, you got to be aware of your surroundings. You can't just be walking around with a camera everywhere. You're going to run up on the wrong block. So I felt like I deserved what I got there. I was glad I got out of it, and it also showed me how quick shit could go from a fucking dream to a nightmare.
Right.
I just did a short film in Hong Kong, recreating that, but with like a Chinese kid and
Karate Kid.
Ended up
you the Karate Kid.
It wasn't me though. Like you won't like you'll know that I was recreating it, but it was like a story that was inspired by that situation.
Talk about filmmaking. Was Death of a Dynasty kind of like cathartic? Was it kind of like you exhaling?
It was me looking at a situation and laughing at it. Like, I knew what was happening, so I just made a funny movie about it. So I thought it was funny.
So, did you know how Cass was moving?
I just didn't care.
Right. But how do you not care though?
Because I got other shit to do.
I know,
it wasn't what I wanted to do anymore. So
right.
like, if I'm
you got bored.
If I'm hustling on a block and I don't want the block no more.
But you got the hottest label in the game right now.
Hear me out. If I'm hustling, if I got the hottest block in the game right now. So what comes with having the hottest block is me having to fucking always be at war, always be worried about
always
the police.
Always got to be the hottest.
Always got to be fucking aggressive and shit like that.
Right.
And it's not what I want to do no more.
Right.
So once I leave that block, I don't give a fuck what's going on that block. You understand what I'm saying? And if the point is I'm not going to leave the block because I feel that I put everyone on the block and they say, yo, you can't be on the block. All right, I'm gone.
I'm gone.
So that's why, if you know me, you know that I'm not going to just walk away from something unless I don't want it anymore.
Right.
So it wasn't nothing to talk about. I actually felt happy that it went down like that because I was able to start from scratch.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I was disappointed in the friendship part of it because it was mostly friendship that was what Roc-A-Fella meant. But, sometimes it's hard to be a friend with someone when it's business,
right.
Because the business stuff is not the most pleasant thing.
When was the last time you spoke to Jay?
I don't remember.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah, it is. It's corny. I always felt that way.
Right. Yeah. He's your son's godfather. Boogie's godfather, right? I mean,
he was. Yeah.
What's Boogie think about
this?
Not
think about that shit. He got a father.
Right.
He's not thinking about it at all.
Now, what's the first thing you would say to Jay if you guys had a conversation?
He knows. He sent me some tickets the other day. I needed some. It's not like I don't think it's an issue with him.
Right.
I just think we took different paths.
Right.
Period. I'm proud of everything that he's done, and I'm proud of everything that I've done since then. And I feel like I've done a lot, and I feel like whatever his dreams are, he's made his dreams come true. But my dreams aren't the same as his.
Right.
What I consider a win, not most people do. The way my perspective, like life is about perspective. So my perspective on things is probably a little different than most.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not really trying to be in hip hop at 42 and 3 and looking like the old man in the club. I never wanted to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like I always wanted to do fashion. I always wanted to make movies. I enjoy business, being an entrepreneur on every level. But I really enjoy it. Like, I really enjoy my independence. I enjoy doing businesses without anyone's help.
You seem a lot happier right now, man.
Yeah,
Are you?
Yeah. I'm raising my children. More than anything, it's about your kids. So I love the life that my kids have. I love the life that my kid's mother has. I love Rachel's life.
Right.
I love what I've helped to. I watch. My daughter and my son just came back from opening up a gallery with me in Hong Kong. And then Ava just came back from going on a trip with his mom's, Rachel, to India for a whole India trip. So on both sides, she sees a woman that's strong,
right,
and she's also seeing a man that's strong and creative and independent and never had to compromise quality of living. I could pick my daughter up from school every day.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's really what it's always been about.
Yo, how was divorce, man?
It was nothing.
It was nothing.
Nothing. That's like that.
Like how though? I mean, I hear that.
You got to get a mediator.
A mediator.
Don't get a lawyer. You know how lawyers.
Yeah, and so y'all worked it through.
Yeah.
And what's your relationship with her right now?
A1, but I'm not really allowed to speak on it.
Okay.
But we good money.
All right. So any prospects of you getting married again, man?
I don't know.
Huh?
I don't know. I don't think about shit like that.
Right.
You know what I mean? If it happens, I'm not opposed to it, but I haven't met a better woman than Rachel.
Right.
She's a strong woman.
Right.
So it would probably take a lot of, you gotta remember the two women in my life are Leah and Rachel. So for me to find women greater than that,
how did
I'd be a lucky
happen, man?
Just spending time. We just saw things the same.
Right.
And it was new. You know what I mean?
What was new about it?
Meeting someone that's trying to do the same thing you're doing
in the urban
environment, in the same urban marketplace, but not really being so urban.
Right.
It was just her mind was where my mind was. She understood me and she got my jokes.
Right.
She thought my jokes were funny.
That was important. That's important, right?
Mm-hmm.
Jokes.
Like I said, if you don't enjoy laughing, then you probably won't enjoy being around me, even if you got to be the butt of the joke sometimes. but I used to. Everybody has their turn, and I get snapped on too.
So you used to joke Aaliyah out?
Hell yeah. She used to joke me out.
Right.
Because, again, I joke myself. That's what we do.
Right.
We heat each other up. In Harlem, that's what you do. You cut ass.
And she was built for that.
She was built for that, yeah. She was funny.
Right.
She was real funny. She was dope.
Yeah.
She used to ride out.
Right. How'd you feel, man, when she was...
when she died?
Right. Yeah.
My heart was broken.
Right. Did you feel cheated, man?
Nah, I felt like a fucking... broken heart, like you feel when someone you love dies. It was a normal reaction and it was human, but you have to push through it.
Right.
God does things and puts certain things in front of you to see how strong. So it was defining pain. But as everyone saw, I dealt with it as a man and I was able to move forward even through the pain. And I was able to give people, a perspective on death because I went through it.
Right.
Whether it be with my moms or with the girl that I wasn't expecting to lose.
Right. Your mom steeled you for that moment.
Yeah. And then I was reading a lot of books, The Seed of the Soul and all these different things. You know what I mean? So I don't necessarily think death is a bad thing because it happens to everybody.
It's a transition.
Yeah, everybody. If it was a bad thing, all of us, death is 100% going to happen to every living human being or anything living in the planet. So because it's such a definite thing, it can't be bad. It's just a process that you have to deal with. Everybody goes through it. Everybody survives loss. the same time I lost Aaliyah, 9/11 happened a month later.
Yeah.
And, a lot of people, thousands of people lost, and they weren't able to do it in the way I was, meaning, I was able to go home and all the things that...
You lose Aaliyah, and then it's 9/11. Are you going through something extra shit? Because, the personal loss...
I'm not surprised.
Right.
I'm like...
Were you
tragedy.
numb?
It's not that I was numb. It's just that, you think tragedy is not going to happen, but tragedy does happen. So it's like everything's possible. Everything that can happen is going to happen.
Right.
At least when you're living life the way I am.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So because I'm having so many natural experiences, anytime there's death, I feel it. Because when someone famous dies, I usually know him some way, shape, or form. When one of my friends in the hood, when Ali Mo just died, I felt that too. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm from that, I knew him. I know his whole family. So I'm always feeling death because it's a part of life. And when you know a lot of people, you always gonna feel it. And I just happen to know a lot of people from different kinds of cultures and different kinds of walks of lives, from black to white to famous to hood to not hood, from here to Hong Kong.
It's life.
To Thailand.
It's life.
I know something happened.
To people who wear fake jerseys.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Los Yets.
So
You
Dane,
won't pay for that one later.
I'm sorry.
yo, Dane, what's your biggest fear, man?
That I'm not enjoying myself.
Right.
That I have to compromise and have a boss. That my children won't look at me the way they do. But it's not even a fear.
Right.
How do you feel your children look at you?
Like a man. I take care of them, and I'm very present in their lives, and probably a little more present than the average parent, especially as a father. Remember I raised my son since he was 8. I was a single father. Nobody brought that up. You know what I'm saying? It never comes up in the life that.
And you had full custody, right?
Full custody. I went to court.
How did you get that, man? Because it was such a contentious relation. You can't talk about it.
For me to talk about it would mean I would have to say bad things about my son's mother, so I'm not going to do that to him.
Right.
But it is what it is. But I stepped up and was a man about it.
Right.
And a real man takes care of other people before himself, and I've always done that. So my children have always seen me do that, whether it's for them or whether it's for other people around me. I put other people before I put myself, and I'm independent. They're never going to watch me be strong one day and then compromise in front of some dude because I think he could give me a check. They've never had to experience that. They've only seen me in a position of power and as a man, and hopefully that's how they move through their life as well. But I also go home and cook for my daughter too, every night.
There's so much talk about you, even though you're not in the limelight like you were before. There's a lot of talk.
Like I am in the limelight.
No, but there's a lot of talk, man. There's a lot of talk about Dame fell off, Dame lost everything, this and that. But you're working on a lot of things, man. How true are those allegations?
I mean, it depends on what you perceive as a win or a loss.
Right.
To me, the minute I make $20 million, I put it all back on the street. That's just what I do. There's no fear in it. So because I'm always independent, like because I always have a staff, because I'm always building a brand, because I've never had to work with anybody. I mean, I think the difference between me and everybody else is, when I have tax problems, it's in the paper. When other people do, it's not.
Right.
I don't really care. You know what I'm saying? So whatever perception is doesn't really bother me. It's all about quality of living.
Right.
My quality of living has never been compromised. You know what I'm saying? Ever. You know what I'm saying?
No, it's crazy because
I got galleries all over the world. How could I be like, to me, I'll be like, all right, well, I did start Rachel Roy and sold half of it to Jones, New York, and I don't see anybody else doing that right now. Like I did start another, I've done so many other things. Like I just haven't tried to advertise it. So I guess people's perceptions are different, but I just really
and you don't want to. Do you not want to advertise it?
I just don't
at this
care.
Point? Right.
Like I know so many businessmen that are never known for what they're doing.
Most businessmen are smart and quiet.
Yeah, most business. I know billionaires that ride coach. That only ride in Lincoln Continental. Like everyone that I know with real money is low key. So, me being an authentic businessman, I just wanted to be an authentic like I lived the hip hop mogul dream.
The cakeaholic.
Shit is old past 30. You can't do it past 35. You look too old. You know what I'm saying? You just can't. So I think my evolution has been ridiculous, that the business that I've accomplished and the things that I've done. So it's usually the people that just don't know about what's going on are usually the ones that are the most talkative or ignorant about it. And it's not for me to be trying to correct them. I almost prefer it. Keep them out of my life. You know what I'm saying? But, if that's what you call having nothing, having all of these different companies and, having galleries and having, clothing lines that are $50 to $100 million and,
and legacy sneaker companies.
Yeah, but I didn't. That was a while. I didn't own that. It was a license deal, but I gave it back because it was a sucker's deal. But I'm just
thank you for even fucking with the original Uptowns.
I did.
The original Uptowns. Pro Kids were the original Uptowns.
Yep. That's why I did it. There's certain things that I do because I'm just creatively inspired. And I have to, like when I did Black Rock with the Black Keys and put y'all familiar with Black Rock?
Yeah.
I didn't go and look at they won 4 Grammys. They're the biggest rock group I have 2-3 albums with them. One with RZA, a Black Rock 1 and a Black Rock 2. I never tried to monetize that shit. My problem is I make too much shit and don't try to sell it because I'm only doing it because I'm being artistic.
Right.
But a lot of the businesses that I'm a part of now, you don't know I'm a part of them because I'm not trying to be known.
Now I was surprised that I found out you was in the oil business.
Yeah, so oil, Dash Motors. Got a
I like that.
got a factory in Williamsburg.
How'd you get into oil, man?
Slick talk.
One of my galleries, the gallery at DD 172.
Right.
An artist showed. His name is Peter, and he's an older dude, and he also invests or handles like a not to say like a hedge fund, but a family that invests in different things that are in distress. So it was a business that was in distress, and it was a factory that got bought, and we were discussing doing the oil, and we just did it. And I liked it because there was an oil factory involved, and my son could throw raves in the oil factory, and
the space. So it was kind of in a sense creatively.
Well, it just
driven in a sense, and it was good business.
It was completely creative. I just think it's dope to be snobby enough to make my own shit.
Right.
So I make my own everything, really.
That Dash Oils, right?
Yeah, I make my own oil. I've always tried to make my own liquor. I've always tried to make my own clothes.
What liquor are you making right now, man?
I got this whiskey called Dusko.
Dusko.
Yeah.
Can we get a case, man?
Yes,
Please, man.
Thirsty.
It's good. It's a Spanish whiskey, but again, it's not like I'm trying to do it for money.
Right.
Like I don't care if it's in $10, as long as I could do it at a professional level.
So you're involved. You're involved right now. As long as you can move where you want to move.
Yeah, like I got magazines, I got fucking television networks, I got motherfuckers.
You got a job?
So internet.
What's
job?
Okay.
What magazine? Not America.
It's Blue Rock. I relaunched American New.
Okay.
But it's called American New. But it's Blue Rock and it's Blue Rock and American New.
My experience with American Mag.
Yeah.
You had a launch party at Nell's, at the old Nell's space.
Yeah.
Years ago, and I blacked out that night.
You mean you blacked out?
They had everything open. They had the top shelf open. Everything was open there. And I did a lot of champagne and top shelf. Everything was open.
That's how we do it.
Top shelf drugs too, Dallas.
I blacked out.
Yo, Damon, what's next for you, man? Since you see 10 years in the future,
in 10 years, I want to. In my 10 year, my retirement plan is to own a football team, but not like on the level of
Canadian football, or American football.
Nah, American football. Okay. It's time for a black owner, But
are you ready working on that?
I'm working on understanding how to do it.
Right.
Like understanding the business model of the football league. You make the money from the stadium. That's how you value it.
You make your money from the taxpayers.
Well, from the stadium.
From the real estate.
Well, it's all shared revenue.
Right.
So the only thing that's not shared revenue is the stadium. So whoever has the best stadium, usually the franchise is worth the most, not the most winning team. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So just figuring out how to raise the money for the real estate and then raise the money to have a tenant in it, and figuring out how to raise that dough, how to get that billion up, because I'm gonna need 250 for a stadium and the rest for the operations of the team. You know what I'm saying? Like I could cop the Raiders now for 700,000, 700 million. Because they don't own. I'm not saying they're for sale, but they're worth 700 million because they don't own the stadium.
So you're studying the game.
I'm just studying the game. It'll take me a couple of years to learn it.
Yeah, but if you became the owner of Raiders, who would you want to quarterback that team?
Depending on what year.
Like right now, like next year.
Talking about 10 years from now.
Like next year.
Talking about 10 years from now.
Yeah, I got to get in that game. I would be smart enough to hire somebody to make that decision.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So I would put some smart people around me, and I wouldn't try to coach the team. I would just try to make sure that the team was profitable.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. You don't when you do. This is my last shot at this, but when you do the jerseys for the team, don't call Just Blaze. To be honest, that's all I'm saying.
I'm
sorry. That was the last shot I took.
Los. Yes. Where did the shots come into play?
Because
you might get your jaw tapped.
Well, listen, we could do this because listen, the thing I'm saying is that like Just prides himself like. I don't know. You haven't seen him in a while or spoke to him in a while. Like, Just is.
It's been over 10 years.
Just
right?
is a fashionable motherfucker.
He is?
Yes. Like, for real. I know. I know you may not believe this, but his polo game is crazy.
He just didn't care
his sneaker game is crazy. And honestly,
I have nothing to do with that, Just?
No. So you didn't know.
Just he didn't have
But I will say this.
Yes.
I will. The one thing I will say.
Yes.
Because I really the whole Jersey thing was just kind of a one-time incident. I was fresh before that. I've been fresh after that.
You can't be fresh.
I had a day.
before
I had a day. I didn't care.
Well, that just happened to be the day I came into the studio.
It is what it is. But
You gotta eat that day.
no, but I pause. But what I will say, is, being around just that entire era, it was the collective.
You had to be fresh.
Because we were all one-upping each other every day.
Right.
No one was
So,
one up in me, but
That's not true.
Who's one up in Damon?
Nah, there were definitely times where I one-upped you. There was 2 or 3 times.
here we go.
There was 2 times where I had
Stop.
I had this one jersey, right?
Just you don't do jerseys. You're out the jersey game once you wear a fake one.
Whatever. Anyway, moving on.
Done.
There was
Once
one
you get
time
caught with one fake,
he pulled me into the B room, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, "Yo, so who sent you that?"
Yeah, because that wasn't just Steve's. Probably like, what you
And
doing with a real
no,
jersey?
who sent you that?
What you doing with a real jersey?
And
Are you sure I wasn't asking
got
who
to a
sent you the
point.
belt buckle?
what?
You sure I wasn't asking who sent you the belt buckle?
No,
Because it's in your hand.
It was obvious who sent me the belt buckle. It was LRG.
I remember a belt buckle.
Moving on.
Was dazzled, and I was like, yo.
Yeah, in my hand.
It wasn't in your hand, though. You were wearing it.
I was
man.
not wearing a bedazzled belt buckle.
I can't believe you doing that.
Moving on.
I can't believe you doing
Moving
that.
on. Hold on. Moving on. I will say.
So you're
in
fresh right now? I didn't know that.
fresher than you.
I mean, you know.
I like that RLX vest, by the way, though.
Huh?
I like that RLX, by the way, the vest. That's dope.
Thanks, man.
But no, seriously, being around everybody. Don't egg him on, please. Being around everybody. There was a lot of one-upmanship happening.
Right.
And it could be because there was more than just you. It didn't revolve around you.
In my mind, it did.
Ew, that was the problem.
It wasn't
There
the
were
problem.
many of us.
It was
like
no problem.
even days when you weren't there, there would still be 30 other people
Yeah,
there.
but once you got
so
to fakey,
everybody,
you was out the
Dave,
game.
keep
That's
it moving. We're not
That was
talking
it.
about. We're not talking about
It
that
was
anymore.
it.
Dave, you
Moving
never had
on.
no fakey?
Hell no.
Never.
Never, ever.
Never ever. No watches and nothing.
Listen, if I
not consciously. If
Not
it happened by
that's what I'm
accident.
saying. That's
Not
what I'm saying.
He was conscious of it. He's like, I know I went and bought this fakey. I
yes,
don't care.
I had to get back to the studio. I did
You hear
not
that? You
care.
hear that? I
Why-
didn't
if you
consciously
didn't
have a
care,
bad
why
dude.
Because you know why?
fakey.
Because
And-
I had the perfect.
Combat.
Hold on,
Tell
Dallas.
you.
Before
That's
you
what I'm saying.
combat,
I should've told you.
let me answer that question. Because something where, let's say it was something like polo, something that I'm actually passionate about, then you have a different story. 'Cause that's something that I place value in. I don't place value on a jersey. I don't place a value
So
on.
then why
I
do
have
you wear
to have,
real jerseys? Then?
I don't.
How did you get all into the
I
jersey
had, but I
culture?
had real
You in
jerseys.
the dirt- you just-
I had real
all right,
jerseys,
all
but
right,
hold
all
on.
right. You can't wear real
Let me-
jerseys and then wear
you can't-
combat.
you can't-
Can't
Why
do
do you
that.
consistently?
Just let me just tell Combat.
That's a violation of the game.
That Bandu Polo Combat looked good on you.
Bandu.
Yeah, are we good?
Let me just say one
wrap it
thing.
up.
Yo, your feelings are a little hurt tonight. I mean, I just.
That's not my
Pete?
intent. I didn't mean to hurt your feelings.
I'm just saying, like,
Just,
yo,
I don't wanna
I'm
hurt
trying to
your
make him
feelings.
say.
Yeah,
I love
no,
it.
no,
You're going too far. You're going too far. You're going too far.
Listen,
I know. I've been too far. I know what he's talking about.
You're going too far.
All right.
I'm not gonna tap your jaw, but I'm
No, but you're going too far.
Fall back.
Fall back. So
okay. You see this? You see this, Dave?
Is it
sit
camera?
down,
Sit down, Pete.
Pete.
Okay. I'll sit down. Fake,
all I'm saying is
fake
this.
ass jersey wearing motherfucker.
Oh shit.
Peter's thirst. Okay.
No,
Let's wrap this up.
I'll wrap this up by saying, like I was saying before, being around all of that, when it came to the jersey thing, it wasn't something I was passionate about.
Right.
So, to be honest, I don't care that I paid $50 for this head model.
It's not about the money.
Let me finish. When it comes to something that I am passionate about, whether it's say sneakers, actual brands that I like a Ralph Lauren,
Right.
then it's gonna be top notch. And it always has been from whenever. But it was cool playing keep up with the Joneses for a little while,
Right.
Because that was the point where actually at that point, that era, that's what we were all doing with each other. But the problem, not the problem, but the interesting thing about it is you had a bunch of 100,000aires playing keep up with the Joneses with
Millionaires.
with multi-millionaires.
That's what I was saying. It was never a competition like that. You know what I mean? Like
It was just fun. It was fun.
it wasn't like the clothes. Because again,
It wasn't outspending.
you could wear. It's not about how much you spend on.
Yeah, it's where you
about
get it.
It's how you put it together
Yeah,
and
how you
your
put it together.
taste. You know, you can't buy good taste. You know what I'm saying? Taste is actually conveniently cheap.
Can't buy fresh.
Yeah, you can't be. Yeah, you can't buy.
Taste is conveniently cheap.
Yeah,
That's interesting.
It's very true.
That's good.
you ain't gotta have a lot of money to look cool.
But when you do,
But when you have a lot of money and you're super cool,
yeah, then that's crazy.
it's a different kind of battle.
I'm going to get off this. I just want to ask one question.
After what Dame said,
Let's wrap it up.
that was it.
Okay.
He just closed it down right there.
No problem.
Okay.
Dame Dash, man. It's great having you here, man.
It's great being here. I'm proud of you, Reggie.
I'm proud of you, man. I like the evolution.
I like the evolution too.
A lot of zen.
Damon.
There's a lot of
Yeah,
zen.
a lot of zen going on.
happening.
It's always been that way.
Dame walked in all calm, asking me, "Well, I'm so aggressive."
You're a little aggressive.
Okay.
You were a little
Well,
aggressive when you first
You
walked
are
in.
Combat Jack. Though,
Well, you were
right?
right.
I don't know you as combat. You had your combat on.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying?
Well,
So,
listen, man, come through anytime, man. You know, it's good
I will,
seeing
man.
you.
It was good.
You know, you got a lot of
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
just a lot of experience, man, and I just like the space that you're in right now.
I appreciate that.
And
come
I
on
wish
through,
you-
come to the gallery. Come
Nah,
to the
as a matter of fact,
gallery,
we talked about doing something, man, with the Theodis Jones with the artwork.
Oh, that'd be crazy.
The artwork.
Yeah,
Yeah, you like that little
Yeah.
poster we sent you?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's the
talk
show
about
bill. That's our
And I
show
was
bill.
saying that you should put all your show bills up and frame it and do a show at the gallery.
That's what I'm talking about.
yeah.
Maybe we do that
you
and
don't-
do
you
a
don't-
show
you
at
don't
the
think
gallery.
That's some fly shit, having galleries all over the world.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what
You
you
don't think
said.
that's kind of fly? As a
Oh,
black man?
that's super dope.
That's extra.
Yeah.
I was trying to take it to again. It's taste. It's just a
Right.
different level of, vibration.
Do people know about your gallery right now?
I don't know. I'm not telling
You're
them.
not telling. You're not
Can you
telling.
talk
I'll
about
tell them. I can talk about it. I mean, I got a gallery in the Lower East Side called Poppington. I got a gallery.
I heard about that one.
I got a gallery in Charleston called King Dusco on King Street, and I got
Charleston,
a
where in South Carolina?
South Carolina,
Okay.
and I got a gallery in Hong Kong called Poho 66 in Poho. I forget the
In
name.
Hong Kong?
In Hong Kong.
You know which area of Hong Kong it is?
Yeah,
I'm just asking because I'm familiar with it.
Yeah, Po Hung Fong.
Got you.
It's called it's 66
Po Hung
but
Fong.
It's in Po Hung Fong, but it's the illest part of Hong Kong. Like, it's calm. It's like Tribeca. This shit is dope.
Right.
So you could go to like DD 172 New York and on the blog, and you could check all that shit. You know,
Gotcha.
meaning the visuals of it and shit like that.
I
And,
love Hong Kong. Hong Kong is super dope.
Yeah, Hong Kong, Beijing. Actually, my man DJ Wordy got they serious out there, because they don't really know what weed is, so we be smoking in the street and shit like that.
They don't know what weed is.
Not really. It's like
Culture.
China is big.
Right.
There's a small percentage of people that are in the know, but very small.
Right.
But they're in the know. But like everyone else doesn't know what the fuck's going on as far as like weed and shit that's going on.
Because they're smoking opium. Weed is.
How'd you get into smoking weed, man? Because you,
At Big
you did
Pimpin',
not.
I never smoked weed
smoke
until
weed.
Big Pimpin'.
You used to say that people that smoked weed
Right.
was weak minded.
Yeah.
Nah, big pimping.
Right.
What happened? You never smoked ever.
I did. I used to get paranoid when I
Right.
smoked, and it was in Trinidad. We couldn't get no champagne. We were like going to a carnival for Trinidad, thinking it was going to be like young girls running around, and it was just like muddy people throwing. It just wasn't what I thought it was going to be.
It wasn't sexy.
And I couldn't get what I needed.
You didn't want to get no mud.
So
and
all I
shit?
had was weed and
Right.
shit. So me and Big, that was the first time. Me and Big smoked weed all night, and we was with Timberland and shit, and his crew.
Timberland and was smoking too.
They wasn't smoking, but they just had me crying.
Right.
Something, about that day had me laughing a lot, and I didn't feel paranoid. So
Isn't that the best shit when you lose your
when I
paranoia?
lost the paranoia,
Yeah.
I think it's just I got secure. You know what I mean? Like, I'm never gonna say as a young man I wasn't insecure about things. A lot of my over projection did come from my insecurities. You know what I'm saying? But once I became secure in myself 100%, weed wasn't a problem, and it just made me. It just relaxes a racing mind.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I did start to smoke. But anyway, my man DJ Wordy took a picture of me and my man Jonah smoking, and him. And when he got back to Beijing, they ran up in his joint, tested his blood,
A word.
and he did 5 days
Damn.
in China. Yeah, in Beijing. Like, Beijing's a little bit more, and I like Beijing, but I'm not going
But
back
they're
there.
cracking down,
A
right?
little bit more stringent.
It's real China.
Right.
Like, Hong Kong's a little easier.
Right, right.
But they're not even like taking you in and for possession. They're
Right.
checking your blood, and there's no rules. So they just
Whatever.
Do whatever they
5
want.
days,
Yeah,
15 days.
I'm like, yo, was they asking about me? And they still they only wanted to know about Chinese.
Right.
Lucky he wasn't in Singapore.
All right.
Speaking of,
And-
Yeah, no.
speaking on Big Pimpin', just real quick, what's the story of you almost drowning on the set of Big Pimpin'?
I was probably so drunk because I could swim, but I do remember choking.
Because I was talking with Bun, and he was telling me that he ain't never seen someone more drunk before 12 o'clock
Yeah.
than you were on the
That
set
was
of
my
Big
job
Pimpin'.
for that particular video, was to be drunk. So when I got on the set, that was the thing, was for me to act a fool. I played many hats, from a fucking smart guy
played
to
them
a
well.
fool. You know what I'm saying?
I'm still doing the Dame Dash
I
dance.
played the fool well. Yeah, there's a couple of them. I got more.
Dice roll?
I still be dancing. I get it.
Got to dance.
I mean, that's really all it was shit. I was the way I danced in Harlem.
Uptown. That was that's the Uptown dance.
Yeah, it's just Uptown. It wasn't mine, but they just saw me doing it,
There
so
you
they
go.
called it the Dame Dash. So I take it. You know, I like the front on my kids. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, Dane, we could keep you here forever, man.
Yeah, nah,
But this has been a pleasure. I know you got a party to go to.
yeah,
Party
I
still
went- came
popping?
back already.
Oh, you went already?
My man Brownie from the Disco Biscuits. You heard the Disco Biscuits, Joe?
Nah.
You heard they got festivals. They're a jam band. They're pretty good. They're at the top of it.
Oh, dope.
Camp Bisco. You ever heard of that festival? Camp Bisco.
What do they have it at?
It's in Jersey. It's like 20,000 people.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. I mean, like again, I discovered a business model where you don't even ever have to have a hit record, and you could make. When I met the Keys, you know, not to tell their business, but they was making like $75,000 a show, and it never was on the radio at all. You know what I'm saying? So this foundation that you build on the road and you sell merch makes it where you never have to be.
It's a sustainable model.
It's just a different business model.
Right,
You know
right.
what I'm saying? And that's to me a real music business model. That's what it's meant to be.
I mean, that's what my life has been for the past.
Where you don't have a
6
bunch of
months,
people
6, 7 months.
taking your money that don't
Just
have nothing to do
performing.
with this.
Yeah, like it's just shows. You make your money doing shows. You make an album as an event so that you could do more shows.
Smoking
But
good
it's
weed,
not about paying
traveling.
it's not about paying for radio, you know, and being as good as your single. It's about having a career. You know, like if you could have 400, 500 people show up on your behalf without a record, you're good for the rest of your life. You know
Very
what I'm
true.
saying? So that's the foundation that I always tried to instill as a Roc-A-Fella artist,
Right.
or as an artist in general.
Be so self-sustaining.
Yeah, and I want to see some live instrumentation. I want to see some work. I want to see some artistry. You know what I'm saying? And people will pay to look at that.
Yep.
You know, and it's again, it's not a place where there's any violence or that I've seen, and it's a better place. So
Let me ask you, how do you feel about, because this is a world that I've been a big part of, you know, you're about to delete something. How do you feel about, this is a world that I've been a big part of as of recent, the DJ as the artist?
love it. Shit is dope. That's what my son does. I told my son. That's what I said. Wordy is a DJ. DJ Wordy. He's ill. Like he's the best DJ, one of the best DJs I've ever seen. His show is nuts. I'm gonna bring him down. But Pretty Lights, I like all those guys. You know what I'm saying? You know, would they bring some live instrumentation? I love it. I like Purity Ring. You know,
Right.
I like them. You know, the thing I like about the DJ world is they keep the lights down when they DJ. It's not about them as
Right.
much. You know, they don't even want you to see them and shit. You know
Well,
what
a
I'm
lot
saying?
of them are disguises and whatnot.
Yeah.
Because it's more about the show and the experience
Right.
than it is about who they are
It's about
as a person.
and I like it. And it's also the atmosphere is a lot more loving.
Definitely is.
You know, people, and it doesn't cost that much to fucking bring your turntables in yourself. You got to bring a whole band and a whole
Yeah.
clique and a whole
Gun,
bus.
no guns.
The last 6 months have been the most loving months of my life.
Loving.
They love you. They love you.
Love
and,
it.
and if you build a brand, you good. You know what I'm saying? So I like that business model. That thing. That's why I tell my man Brownie from the Disco Biscuits. They got
Right.
their own festival, and most people haven't heard of them, but they could sell out the Garden. You know what I'm saying?
That's
for nights
crazy.
in a row.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's super dope.
All right,
That's
ladies and gentlemen, Damon Dash. Tune
The
into
incomparable. The incomparable.
Tune into the Combat Jack Show, combatjackshow.com.
Catch us on iTunes. Comment, rate, subscribe. Go to iTunes. Type in Combat Jack Show. Get much content.
Get much work.
Internets. F your radio.
Wow. Marathon.
Oh man. Group hug.
Group hug.
Group hug.
Yo, man.
Group hug.
That shit was tense.
Man,
With Just and Dame, B.
but can you see? I mean, the greatness that dynasty had.
Yes.
I mean, that's what leads to those kinds of feelings. I mean, those guys climbed to the top of the mountain together.
Yeah, and they were in the center of this whole shit.
That's right.
Like, they were at that point.
That's right.
The #1 rap label on the planet.
Like, I mean, it's incredible to me now that I think about it, how Just Blaze was like this workhorse, and Dame had his hand on the whip.
But you know what? I could understand both sides. Like, I could understand the frustration from Justice side, like being in there 4 or 5 days, not getting the chance to go home and shower. I could understand, like, you know what I'm saying, having to run across the street and buy a shirt. Like, I could understand that. And I could also understand Dame.
I mean, of course you could understand buying a Bondulu shirt.
Yeah.
Yes, you can.
And I could also understand, you know, Dame running the whole operation. He don't bother nobody, you know, on a regular. He's like, yo, Just, I just want this beat. 3-4 days go by. And then on top of that whole pressure cooker that was...
Well, there's
the dismantling of the Roc.
There's alliances and allegiances and loyalties, and there was a lot of things going on inside there. And like Dame said, I mean, listen, look at this operation that you have here, Combat.
Yes.
All of these dudes here. Don't you, at some point, look at some of these dudes in here and be like, yo, yo, I could just tap this motherfucker's jaw right now.
I've never felt like that.
You never felt like that?
I don't know anything.
I'm gonna tell you what I love about this gig, man. What I really love about this gig is I can never anticipate where an interview was going.
Mm-hmm.
And I never anticipated a Dame Dash interview to be what it was just now, man.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, shouts to that dude, man. I've had my issues with that dude, but it felt like we've come full circle. And I thank you guys, man, for making this happen, man. Pete, you were in rare form today. DP, you were on top of it. Everybody else, A-King, Matt Raz, Ben Hameen, you had some great questions tonight, B.
Just Blaze. Just Blaze.
Just Blaze.
Yeah,
Just Blaze. Look at you, Just Blaze.
Just Blaze.
Animated.
Just Blaze. Look at you, Just Blaze.
Or should we call him? Or should we call him just disrespectful?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry, Just.
Yo, I thought he was gonna swing on
Yo,
you.
let me tell you something. For real, internet.
You pushed Justice.
I started pushing too many buttons.
He was gonna swing on Pete.
I thought that he was like, man. I thought seriously, man. I may have went a little too far tonight.
No, but I mean, I think they resolved a lot of shit. Internet is the Combat Jack show. I love this shit.
This
Thank
is
you.
where relationships are built.
Yeah,
This is-
Matt, you had some announcements, man.
I just want to say, if people are fucking with this show, if they have any feedback about what they heard, questions, comments, all that, at Combat Jack Show on Twitter, and use the hashtag Combat Jack Show to talk about your thoughts and feelings.
Thoughts and
about the
feelings.
show.
Group hug. Listen, you know what time it is. Dream them dreams and then man up and live them dreams, because a life without dreams is black and white, and the universe flows in technicolor and surround sound. It's spring, bitches.
Welcome
Wow.
home, Wesley Snipes.
F your radio.
Spring is in the air.
It's spring again.
I hit it first.
You did?
No